Long before the sweeping savannas and towering cities of modern Africa came to be, the continent was a place of dramatic natural splendor and immense biological diversity, shaped by forces that spanned millions of years. To understand the story of prehistoric Africa, and in particular the fearsome dinosaurs that once ruled these lands, one must first set the stage by imaginarily stepping back into a world both lush and lethal, a landscape teeming with life yet fraught with danger at every turn. Imagine a time when the great continent was dramatically different from what we see today. Vast floodplains spread across the landscape, punctuated by expansive river systems that nourished dense forests, swampy wetlands, and open woodlands. The climate was warmer and, depending on the era within the Mesozoic, varied from humid tropical to seasonal monsoonal patterns. These conditions created ecosystems that supported an extraordinary variety of plants and animals, including some of the most impressive creatures ever to walk the earth. Prehistoric Africa, particularly during the Mesozoic era, which lasted from roughly 252 to 66 million years ago, was a stage set for the rise and rule of dinosaurs. This era, often called the Age of Reptiles, saw the evolution of countless dinosaur species that adapted to the continent's shifting habitats. From the towering conifers and ferns that provided shelter and food to herbivorous giants, to the murky waters where aquatic and semi-aquatic creatures thrived, Africa's landscapes were vibrant arenas of survival. The Malagasy basins, the Sahara's edges, and the vast expanses of what is now the Kem region of Morocco and the Bahariya Formation of Egypt are among the places where these prehistoric dramas unfolded. These locales were cradles for a menagerie of dinosaur life, with enormous sauropods feeding high in the canopies and massive carnivores stalking their prey beneath. One of the defining features of prehistoric Africa was its rivers and swamps. Unlike the savannas of today, these waterways carved rich life zones, combining the aquatic and terrestrial realms. Such hotspots were crucial for both predator and prey. The presence of freshwater sources meant lush vegetation and attracted a variety of herbivorous dinosaurs, which in turn drew the continent's top predators. These predators thrived on the abundance, but also faced stiff competition amongst each other. This competition was a driving force behind the evolution of some of the most formidable dinosaurs known to science. In this harsh and thriving world, danger was ever present. Every creature's survival depended on specialized adaptations, whether that meant razor-sharp teeth and claws for hunting, formidable size for intimidation and defense, or cunning intelligence to outwit and ambush rivals. Competition was fierce and relentless. The struggle for food and territory played out in brutal encounters that often culminated in epic battles. To consider the most dangerous dinosaur within such an environment is to appreciate not only raw physical power, but also ecological dominance, the ability to survive and thrive among competitors, to master the challenges of both land and water, and to reign supreme in an ecosystem filled with deadly contenders. At the heart of this prehistoric world lay a complex web of interactions. Carnivorous dinosaurs were not just random killers, they were intricate players balancing risk and reward. They hunted in harsh terrain, where a misstep might cost them survival, and every attack required tactical calculation. This world was also shaped by the presence of other formidable animals, massive herbivores covered in armor, swift runners capable of desperate sprints, and even smaller predators capable of striking with deadly precision. Exploring prehistoric Africa's lush and lethal environment reveals a landscape vibrant with the cycles of life and death. It was a land sculpted by geological transformations, rising mountains, shifting seas, and the slow carving of river valleys, all setting the stage for evolutionary drama. These factors combined to create unique ecosystems, unlike those on any other continent at the time. Understanding this backdrop enhances our appreciation of the dinosaurs that would emerge as the continent's top predators. It helps to visualize their adaptations not as isolated traits, but as complex responses to a world that was unforgiving and competitive. From dense forests to winding rivers, from parched uplands to marshy wetlands, the environment of prehistoric Africa was an ever-changing theater for some of the most fascinating natural history stories ever told. As we continue this journey, we will delve closer into the cycles of time that shaped dinosaur evolution on the continent, the great climatic shifts, and crucial fossil discoveries that allow us to piece together how these remarkable creatures lived, hunted, and ruled their domains. The lush and lethal world of prehistoric Africa beckons us to uncover its secrets. Secrets written in stone, preserved for millions of years, waiting patiently for us to explore and understand the power and peril of the dinosaurs that once dominated this ancient land. To trace the rise and reign of dinosaurs across prehistoric Africa, it is essential to understand the expansive geological time frames over which these creatures evolved, thrived, and ultimately vanished. The continent's dinosaur history is deeply embedded in the layers of rock and sediment that chronicle millions of years of natural history. This chapter in time stretches back hundreds of millions of years, revealing a dynamic and ever-changing stage on which some of the most spectacular evolutionary dramas unfolded. We begin with the Mesozoic era, the so-called Age of Reptiles, which spans roughly 186 million years, from about 252 million years ago to 66 million years ago. This era is subdivided into three periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous, each marked by unique geological and biological developments that shaped the continent's faunal composition, including its dinosaurs. During the Triassic period, approximately between 252 and 201 million years ago, the supercontinent Pangaea was still largely intact. What would become Africa was positioned near the center of this immense landmass. This period marks the initial emergence of the first dinosaurs worldwide, including the earliest African forms. The environment was generally arid with large desert regions, but localized river valleys and lake systems provided refuges for early reptiles to flourish. The fossil record from Africa during the Triassic is sparse compared to other continents, but it does indicate that these early dinosaurs began to diversify into small, agile forms. This was a critical time, setting the evolutionary foundation for later giant dinosaurs. The Jurassic period, spanning roughly 201 to 145 million years ago, saw dramatic tectonic shifts that began to break apart Pangaea. Africa started drifting apart from South America and other land masses. These geological changes created diverse new habitats, wetlands, broad floodplains, and lush forests, promoting a burst of biodiversity. African dinosaur fauna in the Jurassic began to include a variety of herbivorous sauropods, long-necked giants that grazed the treetops, along with carnivorous theropods evolving in tandem. Although Africa's Jurassic fossil record remains somewhat limited in comparison with regions like North America or Europe, discoveries from formations in Morocco and Tanzania reveal that the continent was home to both enormous plant eaters and their predatory counterparts, hinting at a complex ecosystem setting the stage for future apex predators. The Cretaceous period, from approximately 145 to 66 million years ago, represents the pinnacle of dinosaur evolution in Africa. This period is the longest of the three, and crucially, the time when Africa developed many of its most iconic dinosaur species. The continent's geography continued to alter, with the South Atlantic Ocean widening as Africa and South America drifted farther apart. This geological isolation contributed to a unique evolutionary pathway for African dinosaurs. During the early to mid-Cretaceous phases, extensive waterways and coastal environments dominated much of the landscape. This environment supported not only gigantic herbivores, but also highly specialized carnivores. It is within formations such as the Bahariya in Egypt and the Kemkem group of Morocco that fossils of colossal predators like Spinosaurus aegyptiacus have been discovered. Creatures adapted to semi-aquatic lifestyles unique to these regions. Throughout the late Cretaceous, Africa's dinosaur fauna continued to diversify amidst climatic changes and fluctuating sea levels. While many other continents began to share similar species due to land bridges and migration, Africa's relative isolation fostered endemic species, distinct and sometimes uniquely adapted. The discovery of carnivorous dinosaurs, such as Carcharodontosaurus saharicus, highlights the presence of massive land predators that rivaled the giants found on other continents. Geological evidence shows that the end of the Cretaceous, approximately 66 million years ago, was marked by significant upheavals, both climatic and catastrophic events, that culminated in the mass extinction of non-avian dinosaurs globally, including in Africa. This extinction event closed the chapter on African dinosaur evolution, but set the stage for the rise of mammals and eventually modern ecosystems. Key to understanding these evolutionary epochs are the sedimentary formations rich with fossils, strata layered like pages in a book, revealing shifts in climate, geography, and life through time. Transitional fossils and changes in species diversity illustrate how African dinosaurs adapted to or perished through various phases of environmental stress, such as volcanic activity, fluctuating sea levels, and competition among species. Furthermore, the breakup of Pangaea and subsequent continental drift had profound impacts on gene flow and species distribution. Africa's separation created evolutionary isolations, akin to natural laboratories, where species took divergent paths from their relatives on other continents. This explains the emergence of dinosaurs with distinct morphological adaptations, some of which appear bizarre compared to global dinosaur fauna. In summary, African dinosaur evolution is a saga stretched across vast geological time frames, from the humble beginnings of small Triassic forms to the dominance of giant Cretaceous predators. It is a story written over millions of years of Earth's transformations, climatic shifts, and ecological interactions, each period layering upon the next to forge a continent uniquely rich in prehistoric life. As we move forward from understanding these vast geological backdrops, we will delve deeper into the climates and ecosystems that nurtured these ancient creatures, illustrating how environmental diversity informed the survival strategies of Africa's dinosaurs. This sets the stage perfectly for exploring the fossil evidence that has brought these ancient giants back to life in our imaginations today. The story of prehistoric Africa is not just a tale of dinosaurs roaming an empty land. It is, more profoundly, the story of complex climates and richly diverse ecosystems that shaped and were shaped by these majestic creatures. To truly grasp the world in which Africa's dinosaurs lived, we must explore the broad climatic patterns and resulting habitats that influenced their evolution, behavior, and survival strategies. Africa's prehistoric climate across the Mesozoic era, from the Triassic through the Jurassic and into the Cretaceous periods, was far from uniform. It experienced significant fluctuations and regional diversity, driven by the shifting positions of the continents, changing ocean currents, volcanic activity, and variations in atmospheric composition. These factors created a mosaic of environments ranging from lush rainforests and extensive river systems to arid deserts and coastal swamps. Each of these landscapes offered unique ecological niches, which prehistoric life exploited in remarkable ways. During the Triassic period, much of Africa was hot and dry, dominated by expansive deserts and semi-arid plains. The atmosphere held higher levels of carbon dioxide than today, contributing to elevated global temperatures. Despite the harshness of these early conditions, ancient river valleys and oases provided critical refuges rich in water and vegetation. These patches of life-giving habitats allowed the very first dinosaurs to emerge and begin their evolutionary journey, competing with other contemporary reptiles. Sparse fossil records hint at small to medium-sized dinosaur species adapting to these challenging environments, employing agility and opportunistic feeding habits to survive. As time progressed into the Jurassic period, Africa's climate gradually shifted towards more humid conditions. The breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea created new coastlines and inland seas, which moderated temperatures and increased rainfall in many areas. Vast floodplains and dense forests flourished, transforming parts of the continent into verdant expanses teeming with towering conifers, cycads, and ferns. These plants formed the backbone of herbivorous dinosaur diets, supporting large sauropods and hadrosaur-like species. The presence of rich plant life also sustained a complex food web, where smaller carnivores and large theropods rose as apex predators. Within these Jurassic landscapes, waterways crisscrossed the terrain, rivers meandering through floodplains, creating wetland habitats crucial for freshwater creatures and semi-aquatic dinosaurs. These environments were not only sources of life-sustaining water, but also influenced dinosaur behavior and evolution. Some species appear to have adapted for amphibious lifestyles, traversing between land and water with remarkable ease. The Cretaceous period ushered in even more dramatic environmental variations across Africa. Regions now identified as parts of North and Central Africa were characterized by vast river deltas, extensive swamps, and coastal lagoons, thanks to fluctuating sea levels and a generally warmer climate. This period is notable for expansive wetlands and lush plains nourished by perennial rivers, a stark contrast to the more arid portions of southern Africa that experienced seasonal rains and drier climates during this time. These diverse ecosystems gave rise to an incredible array of specialized dinosaur species. In the lush, water-rich regions, semi-aquatic predators like Spinosaurus thrived, showcasing adaptations enabling them to hunt fish and other aquatic prey. Dense forests and plains supported large herbivores that developed various defense mechanisms, such as armor, speed, or size, to protect themselves against formidable carnivores. Meanwhile, the more arid and open landscapes favored swift, agile dinosaurs capable of rapid pursuit or stealthy ambush. These ecological pressures promoted evolutionary arms races between predators and prey, resulting in physical and behavioral adaptations honed over millions of years. It's important to note that beyond the dinosaurs, these prehistoric ecosystems were home to a vast diversity of life. Early mammals, reptiles like crocodilians, pterosaurs gliding overhead, and myriad fish and amphibians populated the rivers and skies, adding complexity to the food webs. Insects and plants flourished in these niches, each playing a subtle but crucial role in sustaining the balance of life. This delicate balance of predator and prey, the varied terrains from swamp to woodland, from riverbanks to open plains, and the shifting climatic conditions created an environment where survival was both a daily challenge and an evolutionary pressure cooker. The resulting biodiversity was impressive, with some dinosaur species displaying behaviors and physical traits reflecting their unique adaptations to local climatic and ecological circumstances. Understanding these prehistoric climatic zones is vital because they shaped not only where dinosaurs lived, but also how they interacted, how they hunted, migrated, and even how they might have socialized. For instance, The fossilized remains found in certain African formations indicate evidence of seasonal migration, likely a response to water availability or vegetative changes driven by climate. Similarly, ecosystems rich in water bodies may have encouraged semi-aquatic adaptations absent or rare in other parts of the world. What emerges from this picture is an Africa that was far from a homogeneous prehistoric landscape. Instead, it was a continent of ecological diversity, a dynamic arena where shifting climates and landforms interplayed to create a rich tapestry of life. This diversity was fundamental to the evolutionary trajectories of Africa's dinosaurs, challenging simple categorizations and underscoring the necessity to consider local environmental contexts when studying their biology and ecology. As we move forward, this understanding of climate and ecosystem diversity provides a foundational framework for appreciating the fossil evidence discovered across the continent. These fossils are more than just bones and teeth. They are snapshots that hint at living worlds once vibrant and complicated. By piecing together these clues, we gradually reconstruct the African landscapes where predators and prey coexisted, competed, and survived in the grand theater of prehistoric life. In our next exploration, we shall journey to the major fossil sites of Africa, their discovery stories, geological placements, and the treasures they have yielded. These fossiliferous grounds illuminate the physical evidence that supports our vivid reconstructions of prehistoric climates, landscapes, and the astonishing creatures that once made Africa their home. Africa is a continent of immense geological richness, and beneath its surface lie invaluable windows into an ancient past, a past dominated by dinosaurs of all shapes and sizes. Unearthing the evidence of prehistoric life in Africa has transformed our understanding of these colossal creatures, providing not only the physical remains of their bones and teeth, but also clues about their lives, environments, and the ecosystems they inhabited. Exploring Africa's major dinosaur fossil sites reveals a story of tireless scientific endeavor alongside dramatic prehistoric histories. One cannot overlook the incredible significance of the Kem beds in southeastern Morocco, one of Africa's most prolific dinosaur fossil localities. Dating primarily to the late Cretaceous period, around 95 to 93 million years ago, this region offers a prehistoric snapshot of North Africa's rich tropical river systems. Fossils recovered from here include the remains of an array of predatory dinosaurs, such as Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, known for its semi-aquatic adaptations, as well as Carcharodontosaurus and Deltadromeus. The sedimentary layers of the Kem beds, composed largely of sandstone and mudstone, preserve a record of river channels and floodplain deposits. This environment once teemed with diverse life, from giant predatory fishes to carefully balanced communities of herbivores and carnivores, all captured in the fossil record with remarkable detail. Moving eastwards, Egypt's Bahariya Formation stands as another vital hotspot for dinosaur discoveries. First uncovered in the early 20th century by German paleontologist Ernst Stromer, the Bahariya Formation in the Western Desert has yielded some of the most iconic specimens in African paleontology, including the giant Spinosaurus and the fierce Carcharodontosaurus saharicus. This mid-Cretaceous fossil site offers a rich array of fossilized plants, fishes, crocodilians, and of course, diverse dinosaurs. What makes Bahariya particularly important is its well-preserved stratigraphy and the range of fossil remains that enable scientists to replay the complex ecosystems of northern Africa during the Cretaceous. Further south lies the Tendaguru beds in Tanzania, one of the richest dinosaur fossil sites in the southern hemisphere. Dating from the late Jurassic to the earliest Cretaceous, this site has provided spectacular specimens of giant sauropods, stegosaurs, and theropods that walked the floodplains and forests millions of years ago. Excavations beginning in the early 20th century uncovered some of the largest dinosaurs known, including species that rival their counterparts in North America and Europe in size and diversity. The Tendaguru beds offer extraordinary insights not only into dinosaur diversity, but also into the paleo-environmental conditions of East Africa at the time. Wet, heavily vegetated with extensive river systems, West Africa also presents significant fossil treasures, particularly in Niger's Gadufawa locality. Dating to the early Cretaceous, this fossil site has yielded several important dinosaur fossils, including species of Uranosaurus, a herbivore exhibiting distinctive spines possibly for display or thermoregulation, and Suchomimus, a fish-eating theropod related to Spinosaurus. The sedimentary rocks here contain evidence of ancient river systems and floodplains, indicating similar lush but dynamic environments like those found elsewhere on the continent. Fossil remains from Gadufawa provide key evidence about the diversity of predatory and herbivorous dinosaurs coexisting within these ecosystems. In southern Africa, South Africa's Karoo Basin stands out for its wealth of vertebrate fossils, spanning from the late Permian to the early Jurassic, offering crucial information about the very ancestors of dinosaurs and the transition into the Mesozoic era. While it is more famous for early synapsids, this region's fossil record helps provide context on the evolutionary precursors of later dinosaur lineages, making it indispensable to understanding Africa's prehistoric biological heritage. Each of these fossil sites has been painstakingly uncovered over decades by paleontologists working in often extreme and challenging conditions: endless deserts, remote jungles, and rugged terrains. These scientists use meticulous excavation techniques to carefully reveal bones embedded in rock, often working with local communities and governments to protect and preserve these irreplaceable treasures of natural history. What makes these African fossil localities especially fascinating is their contribution to our understanding of dinosaur evolution in isolation. During much of the Mesozoic, Africa was drifting as a separate landmass with limited connection to other continents. This isolation resulted in a unique fauna with species that have no close relatives elsewhere, sometimes reflected in their anatomy, ecological roles, or behaviors. Moreover, these sites provide context for the interactions between diverse species. For example, bone beds and fossil assemblages at these sites often show the co-occurrence of multiple large predators, herbivores, and aquatic species, hinting at intricate food webs and possibly fierce competition or niche partitioning. Fossilized footprints, eggs, and nests discovered at these locations add further dimensions, revealing dinosaur behavior such as migration, reproductive strategies, and social interactions. These fossil discoveries have not only reshaped paleontological theories, but also brought African dinosaurs into the global scientific and cultural spotlight. They have inspired films, documentaries, and literature, infusing the continent's prehistoric past with vitality and wonder. As we delve deeper into Africa's prehistoric carnivores in upcoming sections, these fossil sites will serve as critical references. They offer a foundation to consider the anatomical and ecological adaptations that made certain dinosaurs apex predators within their habitats. From the arid plains of Morocco to the lush valleys of Tanzania and the deserts of Egypt, the fossil record continues to unlock the mysteries behind some of the most dangerous dinosaurs ever to roam prehistoric Africa. In our next chapter, we will meet these formidable predators, bringing into focus the giant carnivores that not only dominated the landscape, but also defined the perilous balance of life in prehistoric African ecosystems. The Mesozoic era, spanning over 100 million years, was an age of giants and fierce predators and Africa was home to some of the most formidable carnivorous dinosaurs the world has ever seen. To introduce the apex predators of prehistoric Africa's diverse ecosystems is to dive into a world where survival was a game of strength, strategy, and razor-sharp adaptations. These carnivores not only shaped their ecology, but also left a legacy that continues to captivate scientists and enthusiasts alike. Africa's top carnivorous dinosaurs were predominantly theropods, bipedal, primarily meat-eating reptiles that occupied the critical niche of apex predators. Unlike many other regions where familiar names like Tyrannosaurus rex dominated, Africa's roster included a distinct and spectacular cast of fearsome hunters, often larger or uniquely adapted to their environment. One of the most awe-inspiring African carnivores was Spinosaurus aegyptiacus. This colossal predator defied conventional dinosaur archetypes with its semi-aquatic lifestyle, blending traits of a swimmer and a land hunter. Thought to be the largest carnivorous dinosaur known, Spinosaurus measured up to 15 meters, 50 feet or more in length, and weighed around 7 to 20 tons. Its elongated skull and conical teeth were perfectly adapted to grasp slippery fish, supporting the idea that it primarily hunted aquatic prey in riverine or swampy environments. The tall neural spines forming a distinctive sail on its back may have aided in thermoregulation or display. Spinosaurus truly exemplifies how African predators evolved remarkable specializations to exploit their rich ecosystems. Another giant carnivore was Carcharodontosaurus saharicus, named for its shark-toothed jaws reminiscent of the great ocean predators. This theropod rivaled or exceeded the size of the more famous Tyrannosaurus rex. Measuring up to 13 meters, 43 feet in length, and weighing up to 6 to 8 tons, Carcharodontosaurus was a land-based apex hunter with powerful jaws and large serrated teeth optimized for tearing flesh. It patrolled the floodplains and forests, hunting large herbivorous dinosaurs and asserting dominance through sheer brute force. Its fossilized remains, found predominantly in North Africa's Bahariya Formation, offer a glimpse into a terrifying ecosystem, rich with competition and complexity. Deltadromeus agilis adds a different flavor to Africa's carnivore lineup. Known as the speed demon, this slender, agile theropod reached lengths of about 8 meters, 26 feet, yet was built for swiftness and agility rather than brute strength. With a lightweight skeleton and long limbs, Deltadromeus probably specialized in chasing down smaller prey or perhaps scavenging, navigating open spaces with remarkable speed. Its nimbleness would have been critical for survival, both to hunt efficiently and avoid confrontations with larger predators. Rugops primus offers a fascinating counterpoint to some of its larger relatives. It was smaller, around 6 meters, 20 feet in length, but bore a heavily armored skull with bony ridges and knobby protrusions. These features suggest Rugops was both predator and scavenger, possibly relying on camouflage or ambush tactics to compensate for less raw power. Fossil evidence points to a lifestyle that combined opportunistic feeding and possibly territorial behavior, making it a versatile but lesser-known predator amid the giants. In addition to these headline carnivores, African fossil records reveal the presence of other, more cryptic predators that contributed to the dynamic food webs. These include small to medium theropods with specialized hunting tools, such as sharp curved claws or varying jaw structures that allowed them to occupy ecological niches distinct from their larger counterparts. This layered predatory hierarchy ensured that every scale of predator, from the multi-ton giants to the fleet-footed hunters, played a role in balancing the prehistoric ecosystem. What set the African top carnivores apart was not just their size, but their remarkable adaptations to the unique climatic and environmental conditions of the continent. From the aquatic specializations of Spinosaurus to the formidable terrestrial dominance of Carcharodontosaurus, to the speed and agility of Deltadromeus. These adaptations were responses to the challenges and opportunities in Africa's Mesozoic landscapes. Vast rivers teeming with fish, dense vegetation providing ambush points, open floodplains requiring speed and stamina, and a variety of herbivorous dinosaurs to prey upon. This diversity of predatory strategies underscores that danger was not monolithic among African carnivores. Power could come from sheer size and force, from cleverness and sheer speed, or from a combination of both alongside specialized ecological roles. It is within this context that the question of which dinosaur was the most dangerous becomes particularly compelling, and also complex. These predators shaped their ecosystems through their roles as hunters and competitors. Their presence influenced the evolution of defensive adaptations among herbivores, such as armor, speed, or social behaviors. Likewise, the constant competition among carnivores would have spurred evolutionary innovation, improving sensory capabilities, weaponry like teeth and claws, and even potential social hunting in packs, though this remains a topic of scientific debate. In sum, Africa's top Mesozoic carnivores present a remarkable panorama of prehistoric life, defined by diversity in size, form, and behavior. They were products of a continent's unique evolutionary trajectory and environmental pressures, carving out niches that amplified their danger and dominance. As we proceed, we will explore these predators in greater detail, dissecting the anatomy, behaviors, and evidence that bring these apex hunters vividly to life, deepening our understanding of their lethal prowess in the vibrant, perilous world of prehistoric Africa. In the grand tapestry of prehistoric life, the label "most dangerous" conjures vivid images of powerful jaws, razor-sharp claws, towering height, and unrelenting ferocity. Yet, determining what truly makes a dinosaur the most dangerous, especially within the context of prehistoric Africa, is an intricate endeavor. Danger is a multidimensional concept, shaped by a complex interplay of biology, behavior, ecology, and environment. To establish a meaningful definition, we must delve beyond mere size or appearance, exploring various factors that influenced these ancient predators' capacity to kill, dominate, and survive in their perilous world. At the most intuitive level, many might measure danger in terms of sheer physicality, size, and strength. There's no denying that the immense size of some African carnivorous dinosaurs, like Spinosaurus aegyptiacus or Carcharodontosaurus saharicus, immediately commands respect. A predator standing over 15 meters long and weighing several tons possesses the power to subdue massive prey, withstand bodily harm, and even intimidate rivals. Size often correlates with raw strength, bite force, and the ability to inflict fatal wounds simply by overpowering opponents. However, danger is not solely measured by brute force. Consider speed and agility. A predator's ability to swiftly close the gap to prey or outmaneuver competitors can be just as lethal. Deltadromeus agilis, known for its build optimized for speed, highlights how dangerous a sophisticated hunter could be without necessarily being the largest. Its lean, lightweight skeleton, combined with long limbs adapted for running, would enable ambushes or relentless chases, exhausting prey and exploiting moments of weakness. Another critical dimension is the specialization of physical adaptations. The weaponry a dinosaur brought to bear in hunting, its teeth shape, claw design, and limb mechanics, reveals much about its lethality. For instance, Spinosaurus's elongated conical teeth are ideal for gripping slippery fish, hinting that it was not just a brute force hunter on land, but a deadly predator in aquatic or semi-aquatic settings. Carcharodontosaurus, with its serrated shark-like teeth, was built for ripping flesh, delivering slashing wounds that caused massive bleeding. This diversity of adaptations suggests that danger could manifest in varied forms, depending on ecological niches. Sensory capabilities, such as keen eyesight, smell, or hearing, also contribute to a predator's effectiveness. While direct evidence about dinosaur senses remains speculative, analyses of skull anatomy and inner ear structures suggest that many apex predators had acute senses designed for detecting prey and threats. These senses not only aided in hunting, but also elevated a predator's situational awareness, improving its chances in confrontations with other carnivores or rival individuals. Behavior and intelligence are equally important, yet often overlooked elements. While dinosaurs are not humans and did not demonstrate human-like cognition, many theropods had relatively large brain sizes compared to body mass, indicating complex behavior. Hunting tactics, whether solitary stalking, ambush, or possibly pack hunting, would greatly influence how dangerous a dinosaur could be. A clever predator capable of strategic attacks was arguably more dangerous than an individual relying on brute strength alone. Ecological context provides another layer of understanding. Danger is as much about predatory dominance as it is about environmental pressures and interactions with other species. A dinosaur that reigned supreme in a particular terrain, able to consistently secure prey and fend off competitors, would earn its reputation as most dangerous within that ecosystem. This dominance could be challenged by other predators or environmental shifts. Thus, territorial control, social dynamics, and niche specialization play roles in defining danger. The nature of prey species also shapes perceived danger. Some carnivores hunted massive sauropods, requiring immense strength and stamina. Others targeted smaller, swifter herbivores or scavenged opportunistically. The ability to kill large, well-defended animals or to exploit a wide array of food sources adds to a predator's danger and survival potential. Finally, survivability and resilience are key. A truly dangerous dinosaur is one that not only managed to kill effectively, but also survived the challenges of competition, environmental changes, and injury. Paleontological evidence of healed wounds or repeated injuries in specimens hints at struggles for dominance and the capacity to endure vicissitudes. To summarize, the concept of the most dangerous dinosaur is multifaceted. It is a synthesis of anatomical prowess, hunting strategies, sensory sophistication, behavioral intelligence, ecological dominance, and survivability. These factors combined paint a dynamic picture of prehistoric predators as specialized, adaptable, and formidable creatures finely tuned to their environments. As we prepare to explore the specific dinosaurs of Africa's Mesozoic landscapes, keeping this nuanced definition in mind allows for a richer appreciation. The forthcoming chapters will delve into dinosaurs like Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus, not just in terms of size or weaponry, but as integrated beings shaped by a web of biological and ecological relationships that defined their deadly reign. This understanding challenges us to think beyond simplistic labels and invites us to ponder what it truly meant to be dangerous in the fierce and ever-changing world of prehistoric Africa. Among the pantheon of prehistoric predators that roamed Africa, few possess the mystique and singular adaptations of Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, often celebrated as the river monster of the ancient world. This extraordinary theropod dinosaur transcended conventional predatory roles, mastering both land and water in an evolutionary innovation rarely seen among its contemporaries. To truly understand what made Spinosaurus so formidable, we must immerse ourselves in its anatomy, ecology, and the unique challenges of its environment. Spinosaurus inhabited North Africa during the mid-Cretaceous period, approximately 112 to 93 million years ago. fossils primarily recovered from the Kem beds of Morocco and the Bahariya Formation of Egypt reveal a creature that shattered expectations about what a dinosaur could be. Measuring an astounding estimated 15 to 17 meters, 50 to 56 feet in length, and weighing up to 20 tons or more, Spinosaurus stands as arguably the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered. But size alone doesn't capture its true extraordinary nature. The most striking feature of Spinosaurus is its elongated neural spines, which rose from the vertebrae to form a towering sail along its back, reaching heights up to 1.65 meters, over 5 feet. While the exact function of this sail remains debated, theories range from thermoregulation, helping the dinosaur absorb and release heat, to visual display for mating or intimidation. Whatever the sail's purpose, it conferred an unmistakable silhouette that distinguished Spinosaurus from all other predators. Beyond its sail, the skeletal structure offers profound insights into its lifestyle. Unlike the powerful hind limbs typical of most theropods, Spinosaurus had relatively short, robust legs, rich in dense bone tissue, an adaptation consistent with a semi-aquatic existence. Its feet were broad and armed with large, curved claws, possibly aiding in paddling or grasping slippery prey. The center of gravity appears to have shifted forward toward the torso and forelimbs, supporting swimming or wading activities. Perhaps the most telling anatomical feature is the skull. Elongated and narrow, resembling that of modern crocodilians, Spinosaurus bore conical, non-serrated teeth perfectly suited for gripping and holding fish rather than slicing through flesh. Its jaws acted as precise fish traps, snapping shut with remarkable speed. Nostril placement far back on the head further supports an adaptation for aquatic hunting, allowing the dinosaur to breathe while most of its snout was submerged. Paleontologists have reconstructed Spinosaurus's ecology as a largely semi-aquatic predator, thriving in riverine environments, rivers, deltas, and lakes that dominated North African landscapes during its time. Here, the river monster likely reigned supreme, stalking not only terrestrial animals, but also preying extensively on large fishes such as giant coelacanths and sawfish species. This dual reliance on aquatic and terrestrial resources rendered Spinosaurus incredibly versatile and arguably one of the most specialized predators of its era. Its powerful forelimbs, more developed than those of many other large theropods, likely played an important role in hunting. These limbs bore massive, hooked claws capable of grasping prey, perhaps enabling Spinosaurus to ambush or extract slippery fish from water or mud. In contrast to other massive theropods that dominated open plains, Spinosaurus was a creature of watery domains, much like a crocodile or otter, but on a colossal scale. This unique lifestyle would have also influenced its interaction with contemporaneous species. While Carcharodontosaurus dominated more terrestrial areas as a classic apex predator, and Deltadromeus excelled at swift pursuit, Spinosaurus exploited ecological niches inaccessible to them. This likely reduced direct competition and allowed this enigmatic theropod to establish mastery over aquatic prey, though it may have still hunted opportunistically on land. To visualize the fear Spinosaurus must have inspired, consider its ability to silently glide through waterways, nearly submerged, except for the pronounced sail disrupting the river's surface, a haunting specter to fish and smaller creatures. The combination of stealth, raw power, and specialized adaptations made the river monster a fearsome presence in prehistoric ecosystems. Recent scientific advances, including CT scans of fossils and biomechanical modeling, have deepened our appreciation of how Spinosaurus moved and hunted. For years, interpretations suggested a primarily terrestrial lifestyle, but accumulating evidence has solidified its standing as the first truly semi-aquatic dinosaur. This realization has reshaped how paleontologists conceive predator diversity in prehistoric Africa, highlighting evolutionary paths that diverged from conventional expectations. The discovery and study of Spinosaurus remain emblematic of the challenges and wonders of paleontology. Fragile fossils pieced together from desert sands, telling stories of survival, adaptation, and fierce competition. Spinosaurus's reign as the river monster symbolizes the incredible diversity of life forms in prehistoric Africa, illustrating that danger manifested not only in size and strength, but in specialization and ecological innovation. As we continue, the tale of Spinosaurus provides a vivid contrast and a captivating starting point for examining Africa's apex terrestrial predators, exploring who held sway on land and sea, and how these iconic creatures defined the ancient ecosystems so long lost to time. Deep within the sand-swept expanses of prehistoric North Africa, reigning supreme over vast terrestrial domains, was Carcharodontosaurus saharicus, a name that conjures images of power, ferocity, and unmatched predatory dominance. Often hailed as Africa's apex land hunter during the mid-Cretaceous period, Carcharodontosaurus was a true titan among theropods, a formidable predator whose physical attributes, hunting capability, and ecological role make it an essential subject for understanding danger and dominance in prehistoric African ecosystems. Carcharodontosaurus translates to shark-toothed lizard, a nod to the unique morphology of its teeth. These elongated, serrated, and laterally compressed teeth bear a striking resemblance to those of the great white shark, optimized for slicing through flesh with efficiency and causing deep, jagged wounds to its prey. Fossil evidence indicates that Carcharodontosaurus's teeth could reach lengths of up to 15 centimeters, 6 inches, making them among the largest knife-like tools wielded by any carnivorous dinosaur. Measuring an estimated 12 to 14 meters, approximately 40 to 46 feet, in length and weighing between 6 to 8 tons, Carcharodontosaurus rivaled other giant theropods globally in sheer size. Unlike the semi-aquatic Spinosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus was a consummate land predator, roaming the floodplain forests and open woodlands that flourished during the Cenomanian age of the late Cretaceous, roughly 100 to 93 million years ago. Its robust build, powerful jaws, and muscular limbs enabled it to effectively ambush, overpower, and dispatch large herbivorous dinosaurs, likely including sauropods like Periliticton and other sizable prey species. The skull of Carcharodontosaurus was massive and heavily constructed, spanning over 1.5 meters, 5 feet in length, featuring large openings that likely reduced weight without sacrificing strength. Its powerful bite, though not as forceful as that of Tyrannosaurus rex, was a devastating weapon, capable of inflicting deep wounds that would lead to rapid blood loss and incapacitation. Intriguingly, paleontological evidence from bone injuries shows signs of repeated battles and confrontations, both amongst conspecifics and with rival predators, which speaks volumes about its life on the edge in a fiercely competitive landscape. The presence of healed wounds also indicates a carnivore hardened by survival, able to endure injury and maintain dominance. Carcharodontosaurus's limbs, especially the legs, were designed for power rather than speed. Short but muscular hind limbs suggest bursts of forceful forward movement, possibly enabling sudden charges or short pursuits. The forelimbs were shorter and less developed compared to other theropods, but equipped with sharp claws that may have played a role in grappling struggling prey. Its tail, long and muscular, would have contributed to balance and agility when navigating multi-terrain environments. Ecologically, Carcharodontosaurus played a pivotal role as Africa's apex terrestrial predator, engaging in an intricate web of interactions with both prey and competing carnivores. It coexisted with other formidable species such as the semi-aquatic Spinosaurus and the swift Deltadromeus, occupying distinct ecological niches that likely curtailed direct competition. While Spinosaurus ruled the waterways and marshlands, Carcharodontosaurus held sway over the terrestrial realms, capitalizing on the abundance of large herbivorous dinosaurs that roamed these floodplains. Its presence exerted selective pressure on prey species, encouraging evolutionary adaptations like defensive armor, herd behavior, and evasive speed, contributing to the complex arms race between predator and prey that characterizes much of the dinosaur fossil record. From a behavioral standpoint, while direct evidence remains elusive, Carcharodontosaurus's size and sensory anatomy suggest it was a solitary hunter, relying on stealth, power, and precision rather than pack tactics. Its keen eyesight, inferred from the large eye sockets, would have been advantageous in daylight hunting, enabling it to spot prey at a distance across the open woodlands. Fossils of Carcharodontosaurus have predominantly been found in the Bahariya oasis of Egypt and regions of Morocco, providing vital evidence for this apex predator's morphology and lifestyle. The discovery of partial skeletons, skull fragments, and teeth in well-stratified sedimentary layers has allowed paleontologists to reconstruct not only the animal itself, but also the environments it inhabited, filled with waterways, floodplains, and seasonal forests. The fascination with Carcharodontosaurus goes beyond scientific curiosity. It reshapes popular perceptions of predatory dinosaurs by illustrating an apex predator adapted to its unique context, distinct from its North American or Asian counterparts. As Africa migrated and ecosystems evolved, such specialized dominance defined the continent's predatory landscapes and diversified the global narrative of dinosaur evolution. In summary, Carcharodontosaurus saharicus stands as a symbol of terrestrial majesty and predatory prowess in prehistoric Africa. With its imposing jaws, massive bulk, and well-honed hunting tools, it was not merely a hunter, but a force of nature, one that shaped the rhythm of life and death across its environment. As we continue to explore Africa's array of carnivorous dinosaurs, the apex stature of Carcharodontosaurus offers a firm anchor in understanding the lethal ecosystems forged in the deep past, a world sewn together by standouts like the shark-toothed lizard that ruled the ancient floodplains with terrifying dominance. In the vast and varied landscapes of prehistoric Africa, where monumental giants like Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus commanded awe and fear, another carnivorous dinosaur etched its presence through a strikingly different yet equally compelling strategy. Speed. This predator was Deltadromeus agilis, often dubbed the speed demon for its remarkable agility and swift movement, enabling it to occupy a unique and deadly niche in the continental ecosystem. Deltadromeus lived in what is now North Africa during the late Cretaceous period, roughly 95 to 90 million years ago, inhabiting environments shaped by rivers, floodplains, and semi-arid woodlands. Its fossil remains primarily emerge from the Kem beds of Morocco, a fossil-rich formation that continues to offer profound insights into the diversity of dinosaurs that once roamed these lands. The name Deltadromeus agilis translates intriguingly, Delta runner, emphasizing its presumed incredible speed and mobility. Measuring about 7 to 8 meters, roughly 23 to 26 feet in length, it was medium-sized compared to its titanic neighbors, but what it lacked in overwhelming size, it made up with lithe, graceful, and lightweight build. Its skeletal structure reveals slender limb bones, elongated lower leg segments, and proportionally small but powerful feet. Anatomical traits synonymous with endurance running and rapid acceleration. This morphology reflects a predator designed for chasing down relatively swift prey or darts of opportunistic ambush rather than relying on raw power. Unlike some bulky theropods whose massive weight limited mobility, Deltadromeus's body form, appears optimized for swift, agile movement. This unique build suggests it could navigate the uneven terrain of riverbanks, open plains, and shrubby forests with astonishing dexterity, reacting fast to escape larger predators or seize fleeting prey. Its skull and teeth, while less dramatically preserved compared to titans like Spinosaurus, imply a carnivorous diet. Its teeth were sharp and blade-like, suitable for slicing flesh, indicating a hunting style involving active predation rather than scavenging. The relatively smaller and lighter skull would have reduced head weight, allowing for quicker neck movements, a useful trait when grabbing agile prey. In ecological terms, Deltadromeus likely exploited prey types different from the largest apex predators. Its speed and agility would have enabled it to hunt smaller to medium-sized dinosaurs, such as ornithopods and juvenile sauropods, which likely required rapid pursuit and swift strikes. This specialization minimized direct competition with giant predators, creating a diversified and balanced predator hierarchy. Deltadromeus's potential hunting techniques might have combined stalking with rapid bursts of speed, leveraging the cover of dense vegetation or terrain features to approach unsuspecting targets. Though solitary hunting cannot be ruled out, some paleontologists speculate that pack behavior might have enhanced predatory success, akin to some modern-day carnivores, though definitive evidence for social hunting in dinosaurs remains elusive. Its role as a speed specialist predator also illustrates an important evolutionary principle. In any ecosystem, danger can manifest not just in overwhelming force, but in cunning, agility, and relentless pursuit. These qualities make Deltadromeus a uniquely formidable predator because it could exploit opportunities others simply could not. Although overshadowed in popular imagination by larger and more theatrical carnivores, Deltadromeus highlights the ecological complexity of prehistoric Africa, reminding us that most dangerous is not a one-dimensional measure. Predatory success is the outcome of adaptations tailored to specific niches. The swift hunter's advantage is as lethal as the crushing bite of a giant. Fossil evidence continues to emerge, and research into this enigmatic predator is ongoing. Skeletal remains suggest it may be closely related to other theropods, like Gwalicho-Shinyai, further enriching our understanding of the diversity among African theropods, adapted for speed and agility. As we dive deeper into the story of Africa's diverse carnivorous dinosaurs, Deltadromeus agilis stands as a testament to the evolutionary creativity that flourished on the continent, where dangers took many forms and survival demanded an array of deadly tricks from sheer power to lightning speed. This sets the stage to explore even more unusual and specialized predators, shedding light on the multifaceted landscape of prehistoric predation in Africa. Within the diverse and fearsome cast of predatory dinosaurs that once roamed prehistoric Africa, Rugops primus emerges as a fascinating and somewhat enigmatic figure. Though not as colossal as Spinosaurus, or as vividly renowned as Carcharodontosaurus, Rugops played a unique and potentially deadly role in Africa's late Cretaceous ecosystems. Nicknamed the Armored Menace, this theropod presents a compelling story of evolutionary adaptation and survival strategy, shedding light on the complexity of predator-prey dynamics beyond sheer size and power. Rugops primus lived approximately 95 million years ago, during the Cenomanian stage of the late Cretaceous period. Its fossils were first discovered in what is now northern Africa, specifically from regions associated with the Sahara Desert, including the famous Kem beds of Morocco. Though its remains are fragmentary, what scientists have pieced together portrays a medium-sized carnivore, roughly 6 to 7 meters, 20 to 23 feet in length, significantly smaller than the titanic mega-predators that shared its world, but nevertheless formidable in its own right. Depending on its build, Rugops likely weighed between 700 and 1,000 kilograms, 1,500 to 2,200 pounds, making it a stealthy and agile predator or scavenger that could navigate complex and heterogeneous environments such as woodlands, scrublands, and river margins. One of its most distinctive features was a heavily armored skull, adorned with bony ridges and knobby protuberances scattered across its head and face. This cranial armor not only served as a means of physical protection during aggressive encounters, but may also have played a role in social signaling, intimidating rivals or attracting mates. These features earned Rugops its evocative nickname and underscore an important facet of dinosaur evolution. Danger could stem from defensive adaptations as well as offensive weaponry. Anatomical evidence suggests that Rugops possessed a relatively short, broad snout with a jaw lined by sharp conical teeth adapted for slicing meat. Unlike some larger theropods with massive crushing bites, Rugops's dental arrangement implies it may have fed opportunistically, hunting smaller creatures or scavenging the remains of kills made by larger predators. This niche specialization would have contributed to its survival by minimizing direct competition with more massive carnivores. The armament of Rugops points to a lifestyle where confrontations with other predators or conspecific rivals were likely frequent. The protective cranial armor could absorb blows from claws or headbutts, allowing Rugops to assert dominance or defend territory with reduced injury risk. This is reminiscent of some modern-day animals that use cranial structures, like horns or thickened skulls, for combat and display, highlighting convergent evolutionary strategies across deep time. While direct evidence of its behavior is sparse, the presence of Rugops alongside larger carnivores sketch a complex predator hierarchy. Its adaptation suggests a blend of ambush predation and scavenging, filling an ecological role akin to mid-sized to large carnivores in today's ecosystems, which rely on a combination of hunting skill and opportunism to thrive. Furthermore, the discovery of Rugops within fossil-rich deposits that also contain remains of larger theropods and diverse herbivores paints a picture of a dynamic and competitive arena. This environment fostered an evolutionary arms race, not only between predators and prey, but among carnivores themselves, leading to a diversification of survival strategies, both offensive and defensive. Rugops also challenges traditional perceptions that danger equates only to massive size or overwhelming force. Its adaptations illustrate that danger in prehistoric Africa could arise from a combination of physical resilience, behavioral strategy, and ecological opportunism. Its armored head served as both a shield and a weapon, turning it into a creature potentially as intimidating and dangerous in close quarters combat as any larger predator was at a distance. The study of Rugops has been bolstered by recent advances in paleontology, such as detailed CT scanning and biomechanical modeling, which allow scientists to reconstruct its skull anatomy and hypothesize about its feeding behavior with greater accuracy. These insights reinforce the idea that African dinosaur assemblages were incredibly diverse, with each species adapting to unique niches and survival challenges. In conclusion, Rugops primus occupies an important place in Africa's prehistoric predator roster, not through overwhelming power or size, but as an armored menace finely tuned to its environment. Its combination of protective features, dietary flexibility, and probable aggressive behaviors made it a notable and dangerous presence in the Mesozoic ecosystems. Understanding Rugops enriches our broader appreciation of the multifaceted nature of danger and survival in prehistoric Africa, reminding us that the story of predation extends far beyond the giants to include those who mastered a blend of offense and defense in their deadly world. As we move forward, this nuanced perspective sets the stage for unveiling other, less well-known, but equally fascinating carnivorous dinosaurs that inhabited the continent. the cryptic killers whose stories are slowly unfolding through ongoing fossil discoveries and scientific exploration. Beyond the iconic giants such as Spinosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, and Deltadromeus, prehistoric Africa was also home to a host of lesser-known predatory dinosaurs, cryptic killers who, though seldom the stars of popular narratives, played crucial roles within their ancient ecosystems. These elusive theropods, often discovered from fragmentary fossils and interpreted only recently through painstaking research, reveal a fascinating spectrum of predator diversity that adds depth to our understanding of Africa's Mesozoic carnivore guild. The term cryptic killers aptly reflects both the fragmentary nature of their remains and their often subtle but effective predatory strategies. Unlike their colossal relatives, these smaller or more specialized carnivores could navigate niches inaccessible to larger predators, exploiting unique hunting techniques and habitats. Their discoveries have expanded the known complexity of prehistoric food webs and underscored the adaptive ingenuity of predatory dinosaurs. One such dinosaur is Suchomimus tenerensis, a relative of Spinosaurus but differing in morphology and habits. Found in Niger's El Orhaz Formation, Suchomimus measured around 11 meters, 36 feet, long, a formidable size, yet distinct from its bigger semi-aquatic cousin. This theropod carried elongated jaws packed with conical teeth, indicative of a fish-based diet, but it likely had greater terrestrial adaptability than Spinosaurus, enabling it to hunt a broader range of prey. Suchomimus's discovery helped bridge gaps in understanding the evolutionary variations within spinosaurids, illustrating the myriad ways African predators adapted to waterways and forests. Another example is Bahariosaurus ingens, known from the Baharia Oasis in Egypt. Though described from limited fossil material, this large carnivore, estimated at 10 meters, 33 feet or more, presents mystery and intrigue. Its anatomy suggests a strong, possibly fast-moving predator, filling an ecological role between the immense Spinosaurus and the more robust Carcharodontosaurus. Bahariosaurus's precise taxonomic status has been debated, but ongoing research suggests it could represent a unique genus contributing to Africa's predator diversity. Other smaller theropods, such as the dubious but intriguing species Sigilmassasaurus brevicollis, hint at the hidden variety of carnivores lurking in the fossil record. Found in the Kem region, some scientists speculate this dinosaur might represent a variant or close relative of Spinosaurus, showing differences in vertebral anatomy. This ambiguity highlights challenges paleontologists face when working with incomplete remains, yet every discovery serves as a puzzle piece, revealing evolutionary pathways and predator niches. Among the more enigmatic cryptic killers is the genus Equirixinatosaurus. Though primarily discovered in South America, comparisons with African fossils suggest the presence of equivalent medium-sized theropods on the continent. These animals were likely swift predators equipped with razor-sharp claws and teeth, hunting smaller herbivores or juveniles of larger dinosaurs, highlighting a tiered predator-prey hierarchy common in Mesozoic ecosystems. Such diversity indicates that African predators were not monolithic predators, but ranged across a spectrum, from gargantuan apex hunters to stealthy, nimble predators employing ambush or pack behaviors. The existence of these cryptic killers implies complex interactions with varied hunting times, prey preferences, and territorial behaviors, each species carving a unique ecological role. It is also worth noting the impact of these discoveries on paleobiogeography. Identifying cryptic killers helps scientists trace evolutionary relationships between African dinosaurs and those from other continents, revealing migration patterns, convergent evolution, and isolation effects during the breakup of Gondwana. This enhances understanding of how isolated environments can foster distinctive evolutionary trajectories. Advances in technology, from high-resolution imaging to chemical analysis and 3D modeling, have accelerated the identification and study of these lesser-known predators. New fossil sites in the Sahara fringe zones, and the southern African Karoo Basin continue to yield unexpected species, each adding nuance to the African predator mosaic. These discoveries challenge the public and scientific community to reconsider popular narratives that often focus solely on the largest and most fearsome dinosaurs. Cryptic killers enrich the story by illuminating the multifaceted nature of predation, survival, and ecological balance in prehistoric Africa. As we venture further, exploring the interwoven lives of predator and prey, these lesser-known carnivores remind us that danger in the prehistoric world was as much about adaptability, cunning, and specialization as it was about size and strength. Their shadows lurk in the fossil record, testament to a world of unseen threats and hidden battles beneath the grandeur of Mesozoic giants. In the fierce and vibrant ecosystems of prehistoric Africa, the story of life was shaped not only by apex predators, but also by their prey, herbivorous dinosaurs, whose survival strategies and evolutionary adaptations formed an intricate dance of predator and prey. This intertwined relationship sparked an evolutionary arms race, a relentless saga of escalating defenses and hunting innovations that defined much of Mesozoic life on the continent. Herbivorous dinosaurs in Africa were diverse, ranging from small, nimble browsers to towering sauropods that grazed the canopies of prehistoric forests. Their populations were the keystones supporting complex food webs, feeding the continent's carnivorous giants while simultaneously evolving defenses to persevere under constant threat. Understanding these prey species and their interactions with predators provides crucial insight into the delicate balance and perpetual tension within ancient African ecosystems. Among the dominant herbivores were colossal sauropods, massive, long-necked giants such as Periliticton and Nigersaurus. These titans, often measuring over 20 meters in length, could outsize many carnivores, their sheer bulk serving as a primary deterrent against attacks. Their long necks allowed them to access vegetation high in the trees, while their massive bodies were often supported by pillar-like legs that conveyed immense strength. Such size was both a defensive strategy and a dietary adaptation, allowing access to abundant food sources. Yet, size alone was no guarantee of safety. Predators like Carcharodontosaurus, with their size and hunting prowess, could target even these giants, particularly focusing on the young, sick, or isolated individuals. This intense predatory pressure drove sauropods to develop tightly knit herd behaviors, moving en masse to protect vulnerable members and thwart ambushes. Fossilized trackways sometimes reveal groups moving together, underscoring social defense strategies that likely evolved out of necessity. Besides sauropods, armored dinosaurs such as Peranthodon and possibly other nodosaurid relatives patrolled the landscapes. These herbivores were outfitted with thick, bony plates and spikes along their bodies, an evolutionary response to predation. Their formidable armor acted as a physical shield against bites or slashing claws, making them challenging targets especially for medium-sized theropods. Some species were capable of using their tail clubs or spikes offensively to fend off attackers, turning defense into active deterrence. Smaller herbivores, such as iguanodontians and other ornithopods, thrived in niches requiring speed and agility rather than armor or size. These dinosaurs developed keen senses, strong limbs, and possibly swift running capabilities to evade carnivores. Their alertness and social behaviors, including possible coordinated movement and vocal communication, enhanced collective vigilance, early forms of herd sentience and cooperation. The predator-prey dynamic fostered a powerful evolutionary arms race. As herbivores developed sharper defenses, whether physical like spikes and armor, or behavioral like flocking and vigilance, predators adapted new hunting strategies and physiological features. Carnivores had to evolve more effective bite forces, specialized teeth for slicing or crushing, enhanced senses for detecting hidden prey, and behaviors like ambush tactics or endurance chasing. For example, the semi-aquatic Spinosaurus found its niche by hunting aquatic prey and exploiting river environments where some herbivores came to drink, while land-based predators like Carcharodontosaurus harnessed sheer power to challenge armored herbivores or ambush unwary dinosaurs. Faster hunters like Deltadromeus targeted smaller or more agile herbivores, illustrating a spectrum of carnivore adaptations paralleling the diversity of plant eaters. Additionally, evidence suggests that some herbivores possessed complex social behaviors, such as nesting in colonies and cooperative defense, increasing the survival rate of offspring. Fossilized nesting grounds reveal organized behaviors that may have provided critical protection in the face of relentless predation, fostering species perpetuation amid a hazardous world. The fossil record also captures the scars of this ancient struggle: bite marks on bones, healed injuries, and even fossilized footprints that preserve dramatic chase sequences. These clues provide a vivid narrative of daily life, where every moment was fraught with risk, and survival hinged on continual adaptation. Moreover, these antagonistic relationships extended beyond simple predator versus prey. Interactions among herbivores, competition for food and territory, further influenced their evolution, tightening the ecological feedback loops. This interconnected web of life underscores how danger and survival were diffuse pressures felt throughout the biosphere. In sum, prehistoric Africa was a theater where herbivores and carnivores engaged in a perpetual clash of evolutionary titans. The predator-prey arms race was more than a series of confrontations. It was a dynamic and ongoing driver of biodiversity, innovation, and survival. As we explore the specifics of how these predators hunted, the tactics they employed, and the adaptations that enabled survival, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity and resilience of prehistoric life on this ancient continent. Next, we will delve into the fascinating hunting tactics employed by Africa's top predators, examining intelligence, ambush strategies, and the possibility of group hunting that further shaped the deadly dance between hunter and hunted. In the ancient landscapes of prehistoric Africa, survival hinged not only on the raw physical attributes of dinosaurs, but also on their behaviors and strategies, particularly those employed by the predatory species that vied for dominance. Understanding the hunting tactics of Africa's Mesozoic carnivores reveals a complex picture shaped by intelligence, stealth, physical power, and even social dynamics. Whether solitary ambush predators or cooperative hunters, these strategies were evolutionary responses to the challenges of securing food in a richly competitive world. Central to the discussion is the question of intelligence. How cognitively advanced were these dinosaurs, and how did their brains enable or limit their hunting methods? While direct measurements are impossible, scientists use endocasts, internal molds of brain cases, to infer brain structure and size relative to body mass, known as the encephalization quotient, EQ. Many theropods, including African giants like Carcharodontosaurus and Spinosaurus, possessed relatively large brains compared to other reptiles. This suggests they were capable of complex sensory processing, coordination, and perhaps even problem-solving, traits that would enhance stalking, tracking, and executing ambushes. Ambush hunting likely played a predominant role in the predatory playbook. Dense forests, riverbanks, and floodplains in prehistoric Africa provided ample cover for predators to stealthily approach unsuspecting prey. Large carnivores would have relied on camouflage, patience, and timing to get close enough for a deadly strike. Spinosaurus's semi-aquatic lifestyle and ability to partially submerge itself in water exemplify a specialized ambush tactic, where it could surprise aquatic or shoreline prey. Similarly, Carcharodontosaurus might have used the terrain's natural cover, stalking herbivores, while minimizing detection. Speed and agility factored heavily for some hunters. Deltadromeus, the so-called speed demon, likely pursued prey through bursts of rapid movement, relying on endurance and sharp reflexes. Such hunting would involve a chase, exploiting an animal's fatigue, or maneuvering abilities to eventually overpower it. This strategy suits predators hunting smaller, quicker herbivores, unable to rely on size or armor for protection. But arguably, the most captivating question concerns social hunting or pack behavior. While certain bird species, descendants of theropod dinosaurs, demonstrate complex group hunting, interpretations of similar behaviors in Mesozoic carnivores remain controversial. Fossil evidence supporting group hunting is sparse, but hints exist. For instance, in some fossil sites, multiple individuals of the same species are found in proximity, suggesting potential pack dynamics, or at least social aggregation, possibly around common food sources or nesting areas. For African predators, coordinated pack hunting would have amplified their effectiveness, allowing them to tackle prey too large or dangerous for a solitary hunter, and to orchestrate more sophisticated strategies, like flanking or driving herds toward ambush locations. Given the formidable prey available in prehistoric Africa, including giant sauropods and armored herbivores, cooperative tactics could have been advantageous. Still, definitive proof of pack hunting among African dinosaurs remains elusive, and many paleontologists urge caution, noting that some congregations could also be explained by environmental or behavioral factors unrelated to social hunting. Communication likely played a role in these potential group dynamics. While vocalizations remain speculative due to the lack of preserved soft tissues, anatomical features such as resonating chambers in the skull or the presence of display structures used for signaling hint at possible visual or auditory communication methods. These would be essential for coordinating hunting efforts or territory defense. Even for solitary hunters, intelligence could manifest in complex decision-making, choosing when to pursue, when to conserve energy, understanding prey behaviors, and navigating territorial boundaries. Theropods' forward-facing eyes suggest good binocular vision, enhancing depth perception crucial for precise strikes and stalking. Enhanced olfactory senses would detect prey or rivals from a distance, improving hunting success. Environmental factors also influenced hunting tactics. Waterways, dense vegetation, open floodplains, and rocky terrain each demanded different approaches and physical adaptations. Predators evolved specialized skills for their chosen niches: semi-aquatic hunting alongside riverbanks, persistent running on open plains, or stealth in dense brush. It's significant that many African Mesozoic predators had distinctive physical features supporting their hunting styles. For example, the powerful forelimbs and hooked claws of Spinosaurus likely helped seize slippery fish, while Carcharodontosaurus's robust jaws and serrated teeth enabled them to inflict massive wounds on land prey. Meanwhile, smaller theropods could have relied on sharp claws and speed to ambush or incapacitate smaller prey. In essence, hunting in prehistoric Africa was a highly nuanced activity involving a blend of anatomy, intelligence, behavioral strategy, and environmental mastery. The variety of tactics, ambush, chase, possibly pack hunting, illustrate a diverse toolkit evolved over millions of years of competition and adaptation. As we continue our exploration, these insights on hunting behavior serve as a foundation for comparing predators' size and strength. Understanding how physical prowess weighed against behavioral complexity to define the ultimate hunter. This blend of power and strategy truly encapsulates the danger and drama of Africa's dinosaur predators. When contemplating the mightiest carnivorous dinosaurs that once roamed prehistoric Africa, it becomes essential to place their size and strength in a global context, comparing them not only among themselves, but also with the largest predators known from other continents. This comparative perspective not only illuminates the extraordinary adaptations of Africa's top carnivores, but also highlights the convergent and divergent evolutionary paths that shaped giant predators throughout the Mesozoic world. Africa's carnivorous dinosaurs boast some of the most colossal specimens ever discovered. The likes of Spinosaurus, aegyptiacus, and Carcharodontosaurus saharicus are often contenders for the title of the largest carnivores to have walked the earth. Spinosaurus is estimated to have stretched between 15 and 17 meters in length, with weights potentially reaching 20 tons or more. Its unusual semi-aquatic adaptations make its bulk more elongated than robust, but its size rivals even the famous North American Tyrannosaurus rex, which averaged around 12 meters long and tipped the scales at 9 tons. Carcharodontosaurus, meanwhile, is typically measured at around 12 to 14 meters long and weighing between 6 to 8 tons. While it may not match Spinosaurus in absolute size, its massive skull, over 1.5 meters in length, and powerful muscular build afforded it an immense bite force and capability rivaling the fiercest theropods worldwide. In comparison, the South American Giganotosaurus, a close relative, reached similar dimensions, making these dinosaurs the heavyweights of the southern continents. The differences among these giant predators are not purely in size, but also in body proportions and strength distribution. Whereas T-Rex embodies tremendous bite force with a deep, powerful skull optimized for crushing bones, Spinosaurus's skull is longer, narrower, and better suited for grasping fish, reflecting a specialization towards a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Carcharodontosaurus's teeth, sharp and serrated, excelled at slicing flesh, representing an evolutionary path favoring slashing attacks over bone crushing. African predators like Deltadromeus agilis, though smaller at around 7 to 8 meters in length, exemplify speed and agility rather than raw strength. Their comparatively lightweight frames allowed for a predatory style hinging on endurance and swift pursuit, distinguishing them from the lumbering giants. This niche contrast illustrates the layered ecosystem in which size was just one axis of predatory effectiveness. When examined globally, Africa's giant carnivores hold their own among the largest theropods. Asia's formidable tyrannosaurids, such as Tarbosaurus batar, came close to T-Rex in size, but were generally more gracile. In Australia, Megaraptor provides evidence of large predators with different limb proportions and hunting adaptations, while European theropods like Torvosaurus represent another branch of giant carnivores. Yet, the unique environments of Africa, coastal rivers, vast floodplains, and diverse wetlands, served as crucibles for exceptional adaptations and gigantism, seen especially in Spinosaurus's unparalleled semi-aquatic niche. Strength in predatory dinosaurs is often correlated with muscle attachments on bones and bite force. While direct measurement is impossible, biomechanical modeling offers insights. Carcharodontosaurus and T-Rex exhibited strong jaw musculature, enabling terrifying bite pressures, with T-Rex's bite force estimated at over 35,000 newtons. Spinosaurus's bite, though less forceful, compensated by excellent grip suited for catching fish and aquatic prey. Claws also played a role. The enormous curved claws of Rugops and Deltadromeus illustrate predatory tools beyond teeth, used in slashing, grappling, or digging into prey. Comparing physical strength also extends to locomotion. The massive size of Spinosaurus likely limited rapid terrestrial movement, whereas Carcharodontosaurus combined power with moderate speed for short bursts. Deltadromeus's build prioritized speed and maneuverability, underscoring varied locomotor strategies adapting to different prey and habitats. Moreover, African carnivores' size and strength influenced intraspecies dynamics. Larger size often equated to dominance in territorial disputes, mating contests, and interspecific competition. Fossil records showing healed injuries and bite marks on bones provide windows into these brutal encounters where strength literally meant survival. Understanding African carnivores' size and strength in a global framework also reveals fascinating evolutionary themes, illustrating how geographical isolation during the breakup of Gondwana led to the evolution of unique megafauna, with some convergent features to giants elsewhere, but also distinct morphologies reflecting specific ecological pressures. In conclusion, the major carnivores of prehistoric Africa were among the most gigantic and powerful predators ever. Whether it was Spinosaurus's immense size combined with aquatic prowess, Carcharodontosaurus's unrivaled slicing bite, or Deltadromeus's fleet-footed agility, these predators embodied diverse and effective forms of predatory strength. Their comparison with global giants enriches our appreciation of their adaptations and ecological significance. Ready to explore how these physical traits translated into survival skill through detailed examinations of teeth, claws, and sensory adaptations, our next section will illuminate the fine-tuned biological weapons that equipped Africa's deadliest hunters for their relentless world. In the relentless struggle for survival that defined prehistoric Africa, carnivorous dinosaurs were equipped with specialized adaptations, finely tuned to their predatory lifestyles. Teeth, claws, and senses formed the fundamental tools by which these ancient hunters not only killed their prey, but also navigated a complex and competitive ecosystem. Examining these adaptations provides a window into the lethal precision, evolutionary ingenuity, and ecological complexity that characterized Africa's most dangerous dinosaurs. Starting with teeth, the most iconic weapons of a carnivore, African predatory dinosaurs exhibited remarkable diversity in tooth shape, size, and function, each reflecting specialized feeding strategies. For instance, Spinosaurus aegyptiacus possessed a long, narrow snout filled with conical, non-serrated teeth. Unlike the blade-like teeth of typical meat slicers, Spinosaurus's teeth were ideal for gripping slippery prey such as large fish, indicating a predominantly piscivorous diet. These conical teeth lacked the serrations common in other theropods, reducing resistance when biting into water-dwelling prey and preventing teeth from chipping. In stark contrast, Carcharodontosaurus saharicus wielded large, serrated teeth reminiscent of sharks. These jagged edges functioned as serrations that acted like saw blades, enabling the dinosaur to slash deep cuts into flesh, causing rapid bleeding in its prey. Such teeth were well suited for tearing through thick hides, muscle, and even bone. The combination of large size and serrated teeth made Carcharodontosaurus a devastating predator, capable of subduing large herbivorous dinosaurs. Fossilized teeth from this species often show wear patterns that suggest repeated forceful biting and flesh tearing. Deltadromeus agilis, while less famous for its teeth due to fragmentary fossils, likely possessed sharp, curved teeth adapted for slicing smaller prey or soft tissues, consistent with its speed-optimized hunting strategy. Smaller predatory dinosaurs, such as Rugops primus, with less robust jaws, might have used their shorter, sharper teeth to feed opportunistically, scavenging or hunting smaller animals. Moving to claws, these formidable tools augmented predatory effectiveness in multiple ways. Spinosaurus's large forelimbs sported massive, curved claws that likely aided in grasping and holding slippery prey, such as fish or amphibians. and possibly in destabilizing terrestrial prey. The broad, powerful claws potentially helped it navigate muddy environments, providing traction and leverage. Carcharodontosaurus, while possessing less prominent forelimbs than some other theropods, probably utilized its relatively sharp claws primarily for grasping struggling prey. Meanwhile, Deltadromeus and smaller theropods, agile and quick, relied on their sharp pedal claws for gripping surfaces and possibly pinning down prey. The diversity of claw shapes and sizes reflected adaptation to different hunting styles, whether ripping flesh, climbing, or stabilizing the body during powerful bites. Equally vital were the sensory adaptations that equipped these predators to track, detect, and ambush prey with deadly effectiveness. While soft tissues are rarely preserved in fossils, anatomical studies of skulls and inner ear structures provide clues. Vision was a critical sense, with many theropods exhibiting large eye sockets, suggestive of keen eyesight. Forward-facing eyes allowed for binocular vision, a vital trait enhancing depth perception and precision during the final moments of an attack. This capability would have been essential in complex environments with varying terrain and vegetation. Olfaction, or sense of smell, was likely highly developed in African predatory dinosaurs. The large olfactory bulbs indicated by fossilized brain cases suggest they could detect prey or carrion from considerable distances, track scents across landscapes, and discern rival territories by smell. Advantages critical in both hunting and social interactions. Auditory senses were also likely acute. Although delicate ear bones rarely fossilize, the shape and size of the inner ear canals give paleontologists insights into frequency ranges and sensitivity. This auditory capacity would aid in detecting the movements and calls of prey or rivals, supplementing visual tracking. Collectively, these adaptations, in teeth designed for specialized diets, claws crafted for grasping and slashing, and senses refined for environmental awareness, formed an integrated toolkit. It enabled African predators to master diverse hunting styles, survive in a range of habitats from watery riverbanks to open floodplains, and navigate a crowded and hazardous food web. These evolutionary features were not static. They responded to changes in environment, prey availability, and competition, driving a constant arms race within predator and prey populations. For example, the emergence of more heavily armored herbivores placed new demands on the offensive tools of carnivores, pushing the evolution of stronger bites and sharper claws. In conclusion, the teeth, claws, and senses of Africa's carnivorous dinosaurs were marvels of natural engineering, each uniquely adapted to the predator's ecological niche and lifestyle. Through these tools, they left an indelible mark on prehistoric ecosystems, embodying the lethal precision and adaptability that made them the most dangerous creatures of their time. As we move from anatomical adaptations to behavioral interactions, we begin to uncover the complex social and territorial dynamics that accompanied their reign as apex predators in ancient Africa. In the vast and dynamic prehistoric landscapes of Africa, power and survival hinged not only on hunting skill and physical might, but also on a complex web of social interactions, territorial disputes, and fierce rivalries. Among the continent's apex predators, establishing and maintaining dominance was essential, shaping their behavior, physiology, and ultimately, their legacy as some of the most dangerous dinosaurs that ever lived. Dominance battles between carnivorous dinosaurs were inevitably brutal affairs. Fossil evidence, such as healed bite wounds and scarred bones, paints a vivid picture of repeated confrontations, clashes where the stakes were life, territory, and access to resources. These injuries demonstrate that African theropods, including colossal predators like Carcharodontosaurus, saharicus, and Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, engaged in intense physical combat, wielding powerful jaws, razor-sharp teeth, and formidable claws not only against prey, but also against rivals. Territoriality was likely a defining behavioral trait among these predators. Controlling a desirable hunting ground, a riverbank rich in prey, a dense forest supporting herbivorous herds, or a watering hole, meant steady access to food. Territories could have extended over vast areas, especially for the larger species requiring extensive caloric intake. Marking and defending these zones would have involved both physical intimidation displays and violent skirmishes. Visual displays, such as the sail of Spinosaurus or the distinctive cranial ornamentation of Rugops primus, might have served as visual warnings to rivals, reducing unnecessary combat when possible. Competition between species added further complexity. Predators such as Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus likely occupied overlapping ranges, but differences in their ecological niches, semi-aquatic versus fully terrestrial lifestyles, may have reduced direct competition. Nonetheless, encounters along shared boundaries would have been charged with tension. Evidence of healed injuries consistent with interspecific combat suggests that clashes, while probably rare due to the risks involved, did occur. Within species, dominance hierarchies could have governed access to mates and prime hunting grounds. Younger or smaller males might have been forced to the periphery, only venturing into core territories when strong or mature enough. Such social structures, though speculative, find parallels in modern large carnivore behavior and are supported by fossil evidence indicating repeated repair of severe combat-related wounds. The fight rituals ranged from elaborate display behaviors, including roaring, posturing, and physical gestures, to violent confrontations. Some carnivores might have locked jaws in powerful bites, attempting to injure or immobilize rivals. Claws served as weapons and defensive tools in close combat. The muscular strength and robust skeletal structures of large theropods suggest they were well built to absorb and deliver damage. Environmental pressures such as fluctuations in prey availability and habitat changes intensified competition. During lean periods, territorial disputes likely became more frequent and more ferocious as the cost of exclusion from prime hunting areas increased. The urgency of survival pushed some individuals to take higher risks in confrontations, contributing to the natural turnover in dominant specimens. Moreover, territorial fights and dominance struggles were not merely physical, but could also be psychological contests. The ability to intimidate rivals without resorting to fighting preserved the energy and reduced the risk of injury. This delicate balance between aggression and restraint was crucial for long-term survival. Understanding these interactions enriches our perspective on Africa's prehistoric predators, revealing them not just as solitary killing machines, but as social animals navigating complex relationships. These struggles for dominance shaped evolutionary pathways, favoring individuals with optimal combinations of strength, endurance, sensory perception, and behavioral cunning. As we delve further into the day-to-day realities of life and death during the Cretaceous period, we appreciate how these fierce confrontations and social dynamics underscored the precarious existence of Africa's most dangerous dinosaurs. Their survival depended as much on navigating these battles of dominance as on their prowess in the hunt. Life during the Cretaceous period in prehistoric Africa was a relentless theater of survival, where every day presented a potent blend of opportunity and peril for its dinosaur inhabitants. The continental landscapes, shaped by shifting climates, evolving ecosystems, and dynamic geological forces, fostered environments in which life blossomed yet simultaneously teetered on the knife's edge of danger, an unending cycle of life and death that sculpted the destiny of all creatures within. For herbivorous dinosaurs roaming the floodplains, river valleys, and dense woodlands, the constant threat of predation demanded vigilance, speed, and, in some cases, formidable defenses. These plant eaters fed on the lush vegetation that the Cretaceous climate encouraged, towering conifers, cycads, and flowering plants. Yet each bite carried the risk of attracting the attention of lurking carnivores. Large sauropods like Periliticton grazed with cautious foraging groups, while smaller ornithopods relied on swift flight to safety. The diversity in herbivore behavior and morphology underlines the relentless pressure exerted by predators. Among these predators, creatures such as Spinosaurus aegyptiacus exemplified adaptation to diverse hunting grounds. Patrolling the waterways and swamps, Spinosaurus exploited its semi-aquatic nature to stalk fish and unsuspecting prey at the water's edge. Its presence alone could instigate ripples of tension among other predators and prey, influencing movement patterns and habitat use. On land, the formidable Carcharodontosaurus saharicus ruled as a dominant hunter, using sheer size and power to command large territories and dictate the behavior of contemporaneous species. Amid these titans, faster and more nimble predators like Deltadromeus agilis exerted relentless pressure on smaller vertebrates and juvenile dinosaurs, utilizing speed and agility to outmaneuver prey and evade rivals. Even less renowned species like Rugops primus, the armored menace, filled vital niches, engaging in opportunistic hunting or scavenging, never far from the cyclical drama of death and survival. Day-to-day life was profoundly influenced by environmental factors. Seasonal variations dictated patterns of migration for both herbivores and carnivores, as they followed the ebb and flow of water and food availability. Droughts would parch the land, driving animals to concentrated watering holes, igniting fierce competition and heightened predatory activity. Conversely, wetter seasons encouraged breeding, growth, and temporary abundance, a fragile reprieve in the Cretaceous dance. Predators faced numerous challenges beyond procuring meals. Inter- and intraspecies territorial disputes, the risk of injury during hunts or combat, disease, and predation from larger rivals influenced the survival rates and evolutionary trajectories of species. Physical injuries, evident in fossilized bones bearing healed wounds or scarring, tell tales of near-fatal battles that individuals survived, attesting to their resilience and the brutal realities of their world. Furthermore, mortality was not solely a matter of predation. Environmental catastrophes, eruptions, floods, droughts, and shifting climates could devastate populations, nesting grounds, and food resources. These forces tested the adaptability of all creatures, driving evolutionary responses and contributing to periodic species turnover. Reproduction and the raising of offspring added additional layers of complexity. Nesting behaviors varied, with some herbivorous dinosaurs likely protecting eggs in colonies or guarded nests, while evidence for parental care in carnivores remains debated but fascinating to contemplate. Juveniles faced heightened vulnerability to predation, emphasizing the importance of group defense or concealment strategies. The fossil record preserves snapshots of these realities. Trace fossils like footprints capture moments of chase. Bone beds tell stories of mass mortality events. Exceptionally preserved specimens provide intimate glimpses into injuries and healing. These clues collectively recreate a vibrant tableau of struggle, but also survival, cooperation, and ecological balance. In essence, daily existence during the African Cretaceous was shaped by a continuous interplay between the forces of creation and destruction. Every dawn brought threats of predation, competition, and environmental change, balanced against the opportunities to feed, reproduce, and thrive. It was a world both lush in life and lethal in challenge, where the adaptations of predators and prey alike wove the intricate web sustaining some of Earth's most awe-inspiring creatures. As we transition into understanding the scientists who uncover these ancient stories, the work of paleontologists becomes critical in revealing the secrets that our ancestors buried in stone, piecing together the narratives of danger, survival, and extinction that defined Africa's most formidable dinosaurs. Beneath the arid deserts and rugged landscapes of present-day Africa lies a hidden treasure trove of ancient history, an archive preserved in stone and sediment that has beckoned generations of paleontologists to unravel the stories of the continent's most fearsome dinosaurs. The work of these dedicated scientists is a fascinating journey of discovery, painstaking analysis, and interpretation, piecing together fragments of bone to reconstruct entire ecosystems and reveal the secrets behind Africa's deadly prehistoric predators. Paleontology in Africa is a challenging endeavor. The continent's vastness and often remote fossil sites demand meticulous planning, robust logistics, and close collaboration with local communities and governments. From the scorching sands of the Kem beds in Morocco to the Bahariya oasis in Egypt, expeditions face harsh climates, treacherous terrain, and the delicate task of carefully extracting fossils without damaging these precious remnants of the past. Fieldwork begins with geological surveys to identify promising sedimentary formations, often dating back to the mid to late Cretaceous period when Africa's dinosaur diversity flourished. These sites can yield a panoply of fossilized remains, bones, teeth, footprints, and occasionally nest sites. Excavation involves careful layering, documenting, and often plaster casting fragile fossils to protect them during transport. Each specimen is meticulously cataloged, sometimes taking years before it reaches a research laboratory. Back in the laboratory, paleontologists engage in detailed preparation and analysis. Grinding away rock from the fossils with precision tools reveals intricate anatomical features, from the serrated edges of a predator's tooth to the muscle attachment scars on a limb bone. Modern scientific techniques, such as CT scanning and 3D imaging, allow unprecedented views inside fossils, revealing internal structures without damage. These technologies help reconstruct the morphology, estimate size, and understand the biomechanics of dinosaurs like Spinosaurus, aegyptiacus, and Carcharodontosaurus, saharicus. Comparative anatomy plays a vital role in interpreting fossils, comparing new finds with known specimens globally to determine relationships, evolutionary lineages, and ecological roles. African dinosaurs, sometimes preserved as incomplete skeletons or isolated bones, pose a puzzle that requires a broad perspective and collaboration among specialists in systematics, biomechanics, and paleoecology. Isotopic analysis and microstructure studies of bones and teeth provide clues about diet, growth rates, and climate conditions. For example, examining the oxygen isotopes trapped in fossilized bones helps infer whether a predator was primarily aquatic or terrestrial, clarifying the lifestyle of enigmatic creatures such as Spinosaurus. Field sites also reveal the context around fossils. Sedimentary layers speak to ancient environments, while trace fossils like footprints offer behavioral insights. Discoveries of bite marks, healed injuries, and even fossilized stomach contents disclose interactions between species, revealing the brutal realities these dinosaurs faced. Paleontology's modern frontier in Africa includes multidisciplinary efforts encompassing geology, climatology, and biology. Collaborative projects integrate data to reconstruct the Mesozoic ecosystem's complexity, illuminating predator-prey dynamics, adaptations, and extinction patterns. These efforts expand with advancing technologies such as drone mapping, remote sensing, and molecular analysis. Importantly, paleontologists working in Africa emphasize partnerships with local scientists, promoting education and preserving fossils within the continent. Museums and research institutions foster public awareness and safeguard Africa's priceless natural heritage. The dedicated work of paleontologists transcends fossil collection. It breathes life into bones, transforming scientific specimens into stories of survival, adaptation, and the raw power of prehistoric life. Through their meticulous research, we gain profound insights into the lethal efficiency and ecological prowess of Africa's deadliest dinosaurs, ensuring their legacy endures in the annals of natural history. As we continue our journey, the revelations from these fossil hunters set the stage for exploring vivid confrontations, such as the dramatic clashes that may have occurred between titans like Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus, epic tales etched in rock and rediscovered through relentless scientific pursuit. In the fossil-rich landscapes of prehistoric Africa, the coexistence of some of the most formidable predators ever to roam the Earth has long fascinated scientists and enthusiasts alike. Among these giants, Spinosaurus aegyptiacus and Carcharodontosaurus saharicus claim center stage as two apex predators whose lives likely intersected in complex and sometimes violent ways. Their overlapping habitats and predatory niches invite us to explore the tantalizing question: did these colossal dinosaurs clash, competing for dominance and prey across their Cretaceous domain? Through careful examination of fossils and ecological context, we can glean insightful evidence to illuminate this ancient rivalry. Spinosaurus, often dubbed the river monster, was a semi-aquatic predator uniquely adapted to hunting in water-rich environments such as rivers, swamps, and lakes that were widespread in North Africa during the mid-Cretaceous period. With its elongated, crocodile-like skull, conical teeth ideal for catching fish, and massive sail formed by elongated neural spines, Spinosaurus occupied an ecological niche distinct from that of many land-bound theropods. Its relatively shorter hind limbs and dense bones equipped it for a significant degree of aquatic locomotion, supporting the idea of a lifestyle deeply integrated with water. Carcharodontosaurus, in contrast, was the quintessential terrestrial apex predator, a massive, robust theropod with serrated, blade-like teeth optimized for slicing into the flesh of large dinosaurs. Occupying the floodplains and woodlands, it employed brute force and powerful jaws to dominate the terrestrial food chain. At approximately 12 to 14 meters in length, with an estimated weight of up to 8 tons, it rivaled the mightiest carnivores globally. The fossil record provides intriguing clues that these two monsters inhabited the same general regions, such as the Bahariya Formation in Egypt and the Kem beds of Morocco. This overlapping spatial distribution suggests potential for interaction, direct or indirect. Coexistence of such large predators requires constructive resource partitioning to reduce competition. Spinosaurus's specialization in aquatic prey and Carcharodontosaurus's terrestrial hunting tactics would have allowed both to thrive simultaneously. Despite this partitioning, the possibility of encounters and rivalry, especially in environments where their territories intersected, is high. Though complete evidence of direct combat between Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus remains elusive, paleontologists have uncovered intriguing indirect signs. Some fossil specimens show healed bite marks and injuries consistent with theropod-inflicted wounds, suggesting interspecific conflicts. For example, some Carcharodontosaurus bones bear damage patterns indicative of struggles with other large theropods, potentially including Spinosaurus. Competition over shared resources like watering holes, carcasses, or hunting grounds likely escalated territorial disputes. These encounters, whether aggressive displays or outright combat, would have tested the physical limits and survival instincts of both species. Biomechanical studies indicate Carcharodontosaurus had a formidable bite force and jaw structure favoring powerful slashes, while Spinosaurus's weaker bite but specialized grip suited for aquatic prey implies a different combat style. If conflict occurred, Carcharodontosaurus might have leveraged terrestrial strength and bite power, whereas Spinosaurus could have used its size and aquatic agility to advantage in watery environments. Ecologically, such rivalries influence the evolutionary trajectories of all involved. The constant presence of a dangerous competitor drives adaptations, whether in behavior, morphology, or hunting tactic, that enhance survival. This intense evolutionary pressure may explain the drastic specialization seen in both species. Modern analogues help frame these interactions. Large predators, such as crocodiles and big cats, sometimes overlap territories, engaging in occasional violent confrontations moderated by habitat preferences. While prehistoric interactions were undoubtedly more extreme given the size and power involved, such comparisons provide behavioral contexts for hypothesizing about Spinosaurus-Carcharodontosaurus clashes. In sum, while we lack definitive, direct fossil evidence of fatal battles between Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus, the overlapping chronological and geographical ranges, combined with fossil injuries and ecological necessities, strongly support the background of rivalry. Their coexistence exemplifies the dynamic tension between specialized apex predators sharing a complex landscape. This interplay sets the stage for further exploration into how environmental shifts, resource availability, and species competition shaped the fates of these giants, an epic saga of prehistoric struggle that shaped not only their destinies, but the evolutionary history of African dinosaurs as a whole. Throughout the Mesozoic era, and particularly during the Cretaceous period, Africa's prehistoric environment experienced profound climatic shifts and geological transformations that critically influenced dinosaur survival and diversity. These environmental upheavals shaped ecosystems, forced adaptations, and altered predator-prey dynamics, creating both opportunities and existential challenges for the continent's formidable dinosaurs. Early in the Cretaceous, Africa was positioned near the equator and enveloped by a warm, humid climate with abundant rainforests, extensive river systems, and lush floodplains. Such conditions sustained a diverse array of flora and fauna, supporting gigantic herbivores and their carnivorous counterparts. However, as the period progressed, tectonic activities associated with the breakup of the supercontinent Gondwana initiated significant shifts in geography and climate. The gradual splitting of Africa from South America and other continents led to the formation of new coastlines and widening of the South Atlantic Ocean. This geographic isolation triggered modifications in atmospheric and oceanic circulation, which in turn affected rainfall patterns and temperature regimes. Evidence from sedimentology and fossilized plant life indicates that some regions transitioned from wet, verdant habitats to more arid, seasonal ones with pronounced dry periods. Such climate fluctuations exerted immense pressure on dinosaur populations. Herbivores dependent on stable and abundant vegetation had to contend with shrinking food resources, forcing migration or dietary adaptation. In turn, carnivorous dinosaurs faced increasingly scarce prey and more intense competition. This combination sparked evolutionary innovation. Some predatory dinosaurs developed specialized hunting adaptations, such as Spinosaurus's semi-aquatic traits, enabling exploitation of aquatic food sources indifferent to terrestrial scarcity. Paleoclimate reconstructions reveal episodes of rapid warming and cooling, coinciding with volcanic outbursts and sea level changes. Volcanism could have contributed greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, driving elevated temperatures and occasional acid rain, temporarily destabilizing ecosystems. Sea level regressions and transgressions repeatedly reshaped the land-water interface, affecting habitats such as coastal swamps and river deltas that were home to rich dinosaur assemblages. These oscillations often induced localized extinctions or shifts in species distribution. For example, Wetter intervals favored expansion of forests and floodplains, while drier phases promoted open habitats, influencing the prevalence of specific herbivore and carnivore groups adapted to those conditions. Thus, climate change functioned as both a driver of extinction and a catalyst for diversification. Survival amidst these upheavals required flexibility and resilience. Dinosaurs capable of exploiting diverse food sources or habitats gained an edge. The evolutionary trajectory of Spinosaurus reflects this need. Its aquatic abilities allowed it to circumvent terrestrial food shortages. Similarly, smaller, faster carnivores like Deltadromeus may have thrived in shifting environments due to their versatile hunting strategies. The end of the Cretaceous brought one of the most catastrophic environmental upheavals, the KPG extinction event. While the exact causes blend extraterrestrial impact with intense volcanic activity, the resultant rapid climate change devastated ecosystems globally, including Africa. Long dominant dinosaur lineages vanished, marking an abrupt end to the era of Africa's deadliest dinosaurs. In summary, the story of African dinosaur survival is inseparable from the narrative of environmental change. Climatic shifts sculpted habitats, influenced food web dynamics, and necessitated adaptation or extinction. Understanding these upheavals enriches our comprehension of prehistoric life's fragility and resilience, setting the stage for exploring the vital role of Africa's waterways and unique ecosystems that sustained these ancient predators. In the vast and varied prehistoric landscapes of Africa, waterways, rivers, swamps, and deltas played a pivotal role in shaping ecosystems and steering the evolutionary course of dinosaurs that inhabited these regions. These aquatic and semi-aquatic environments offered abundant resources, yet also imposed unique challenges, leading to remarkable adaptations among Africa's carnivorous dinosaurs. Understanding the significance of waterways reveals an intricate web of life where specialized predators thrived by mastering both land and water. During the mid-Cretaceous period, much of Africa's terrain was dominated by extensive river systems, winding through lush floodplains, seasonally inundated swamps, and coastal lagoons. These networks created biologically rich habitats that supported a diverse population of aquatic life, lush vegetation, and terrestrial animals dependent on water. For many dinosaurs, especially predators, waterways were more than just a source of hydration. They were critical hunting grounds and ecological niches. Spinosaurus aegyptiacus epitomizes evolutionary innovation driven by the opportunities and constraints of watery habitats. Unlike other large theropods primarily built for terrestrial life, Spinosaurus developed a suite of distinctive features tailored to a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Its paddle-like feet, dense limb bones, and powerful tail formed natural adaptations for swimming, enabling it to navigate rivers and lakes with surprising agility. Its elongated, crocodile-like snout and conical teeth specialized in catching fish, the staple of its diet, but these adaptations also granted it versatility to capture other aquatic or shoreline creatures. The presence of massive predators like Spinosaurus that could seamlessly transition between water and land underscores the role waterways played in diversifying dinosaur lifestyles. The riverine ecosystems teemed with giant fish, crocodilians, turtles, and smaller dinosaur species, creating abundant prey opportunities for semi-aquatic carnivores. Spinosaurus's evolution into an apex predator of the waterways illustrates how rivers and swamps served as refuges and hunting arenas beyond the reach of strictly terrestrial competitors. Other carnivorous dinosaurs, while largely terrestrial, had to contend with the challenges and advantages waterways presented. The floodplains and swamps created natural boundaries and funnels that influenced predator-prey interactions. For instance, Carcharodontosaurus saharicus and Deltadromeus agilis likely hunted near water sources where herbivores congregated, exploiting strategic ambush points or open terrain shaped by seasonal flooding. The dynamic environment around waterways demanded behavioral flexibility. Seasonal water level changes transformed landscapes, sometimes creating isolated islands or marshy zones that became crucibles for intense ecological competition. Such fluctuations favored predators that could adapt rapidly, altering hunting tactics or shifting habitat use. The ability to thrive both near and away from aquatic settings was essential for survival, further driving evolutionary specialization. Additionally, fossil evidence suggests that some dinosaurs may have used waterways as travel corridors, facilitating migration or dispersal across vast regions. This would have implications for gene flow and species distribution across prehistoric Africa, reinforcing the centrality of rivers and swamps in shaping dinosaur populations. The natural interplay between African dinosaurs and waterways also influenced morphological characteristics. Claw shapes optimized for traction on slippery riverbanks, limb proportions favoring wading or swimming, and skull structures conducive to aquatic prey capture are examples of how evolutionary pressures tied to waterways nurtured unique predator adaptations. Moreover, waterways themselves were hotspots of biodiversity, supporting complex food webs where aquatic organisms were integral prey for predators like Spinosaurus, while terrestrial carnivores exploited the cues or concentrations of animals drawn to water. This complexity fostered coexistence among multiple predator species through niche differentiation, from specialists of the rivers to land-based hunters dominating the floodplains. In sum, rivers, swamps, and coastal wetlands were far more than mere backdrops to Africa's Mesozoic past. They were driving forces in evolutionary trajectories and ecological balances. The adaptations seen in Africa's carnivorous dinosaurs, spanning anatomy, behavior, and habitat use, reflect a deep, intricate relationship with these watery realms. Understanding the vital role waterways played enriches our comprehension of how dinosaurs mastered diverse environments, unveiling the multifaceted nature of prehistoric predation. As we continue, this appreciation for aquatic-associated adaptations provides valuable context for discerning the impact of extinction waves that ultimately concluded the reign of Africa's deadliest dinosaurs, events that forever transformed the continent's ancient landscapes and life. The final chapters of the Mesozoic era ushered in both profound transformation and cataclysmic endings that reshaped life on Earth forever. Among the most dramatic events in deep time was the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs, including Africa's deadliest and most dominant predators. Understanding the waves of extinction that culminated in the end of these apex species requires us to unravel a complex interweaving of geological upheavals, climatic shifts, and cosmic impacts that forever altered the continent's ecosystems. During the late Cretaceous, African dinosaurs flourished amid dynamic and changing environments. However, planetary-scale forces soon destabilized ecosystems, tipping the balance toward extinction. The most famous and pivotal of these was the Cretaceous Paleogene, CAPEG, extinction event approximately 66 million years ago, when an asteroid several kilometers in diameter collided with Earth near the present-day Yucatan Peninsula. This impact unleashed energy equivalent to billions of atomic bombs, triggering fires, tsunamis, and massive atmospheric disturbances. The immediate aftermath plunged the planet into darkness, as dust and aerosols obscured sunlight, interrupting photosynthesis and disrupting food chains. Africa's dinosaurs, including giants like Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus, faced acute shortages of food and habitat. The simultaneous volcanic activity in the Deccan Traps in India likely compounded these stresses, releasing vast quantities of greenhouse gases and toxic chemicals that altered global climate patterns. African ecosystems, already challenged by gradual climatic fluctuations and habitat changes over millions of years, were ill-equipped for this sudden and severe environmental upheaval. The combined effects caused massive die-offs, destabilizing complex food webs and wiping out much of the megafauna. While some smaller vertebrates, including early mammals, survived and later flourished, non-avian dinosaurs' reign came decisively to an end. Before this terminal extinction event, Africa experienced earlier localized waves of faunal turnover, driven by changing climates and continental drift. As the supercontinent Gondwana fragmented, the continent's isolation fostered evolutionary divergence, but made populations vulnerable to environmental instability. Fluctuations in sea level, aridification of habitats, and shifts in vegetation patterns repeatedly altered carrying capacities, intensifying competition and population bottlenecks among both herbivores and carnivores. These pre-KPG extinction waves eroded biodiversity, selective extinction of susceptible groups paving the way for ecological shifts. Carnivorous dinosaurs with highly specialized niches struggled most with rapid environmental changes, whereas opportunistic or more generalized species sometimes gained transient advantage. Fossil layers documenting these extinction waves reveal the gradual transition from dinosaur-dominated faunas to ecosystems increasingly dominated by mammals and birds, direct descendants of certain theropods. The African fossil record, while fragmentary compared to some other continents, increasingly points to this complex turnover scenario. The extinction of Africa's deadliest dinosaurs was not simply a sudden event, but the culmination of prolonged ecological and climatic pressure, punctuated by catastrophic episodes. Their disappearance created ecological voids that facilitated the rise of new taxonomic groups, ultimately shaping the biodiversity of the Cenozoic era. Reflecting on these extinction waves underscores the fragility of even the most formidable creatures when faced with overwhelming environmental change. It reminds us that evolutionary success is measured not only by power or dominance, but also by adaptability and resilience in the face of shifting planetary forces. As we approach the final analysis, these extinction narratives provide the poignant backdrop against which we will evaluate the great prehistoric contenders. By weighing their adaptations, ecological roles, and endurance, we edge closer to crowning Africa's most dangerous dinosaur, a recognition of survival, strength, and predatory mastery within the tumultuous saga of life on the ancient continent. The dramatic and awe-inspiring predators of prehistoric Africa have not only fascinated scientists, but have also etched an indelible mark on popular culture, shaping the way people around the world imagine the Mesozoic era. These dinosaurs have transcended the realm of fossils and museum exhibits to become enduring icons in film, literature, and media, capturing imaginations with their terrifying presence and unique adaptations. Among the pantheon of prehistoric predators, Africa's giants like Spinosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus have received special attention. Spinosaurus, in particular, rose to cinematic prominence through its portrayal in the blockbuster film Jurassic Park 3, where it was depicted as a colossal, menacing predator capable of both land and aquatic prowess. This portrayal, though dramatized, introduced a global audience to the distinctiveness of Africa's prehistoric ecosystems and challenged traditional views that tyrannosaurs were the uncontested kings of dinosaurian predators. The image of Spinosaurus stalking both riverbanks and lakes captivated viewers, highlighting the creature's formidable combination of size, speed, and semi-aquatic lifestyle. Carcharodontosaurus, often overshadowed by its cinematic counterparts, has been a subject of fascination in paleontological literature and specialized documentaries. Its nickname, the shark-toothed lizard, evokes visceral imagery, lending itself well to narrative explorations of prehistoric danger and survival. Documentaries exploring Africa's Cretaceous period have featured Carcharodontosaurus as a dominant terrestrial predator, emphasizing its massive jaws and role atop the food chain. Such media contributions have helped foster appreciation for Africa's unique prehistoric fauna beyond the more commonly known dinosaurs of North America and Asia. Literature, especially speculative and science fiction works, has also embraced these predators, weaving stories that explore interactions between ancient creatures or the discovery of hidden prehistoric worlds. Novels and graphic novels sometimes reimagine encounters between Spinosaurus and other megafauna, emphasizing conflict, survival, and adaptation in vivid narrative styles. These fictional portrayals, while taking artistic liberties, contribute to public interest and educational outreach. Beyond direct portrayals, Africa's prehistoric predators have inspired a wide range of merchandise, educational materials, video games, and even artistic endeavors. Children's books often feature these dinosaurs to introduce young audiences to paleontology and natural history, fostering curiosity and awareness of Africa's rich prehistoric heritage. Importantly, the cultural impact of these predators has encouraged increased support for paleontological research in Africa, inspiring collaborations between scientists and media producers. This synergy has resulted in documentaries, museum exhibitions, and interactive experiences that highlight both scientific discoveries and the excitement of the prehistoric narrative. The presence of Africa's predators in pop culture has served to correct and expand the stereotypical images of dinosaurs, spotlighting unique evolutionary stories such as the semi-aquatic lifestyle of Spinosaurus or the ecological dominance of Carcharodontosaurus. This exposure enhances understanding and appreciation of prehistoric biodiversity and spurs interest in conservation of fossil sites and natural heritage in Africa. As we delve further into the scientific frontiers, new technologies promise to reshape our knowledge and refine the portrayals of these legendary creatures. The interplay between science and culture continues to enrich both fields, inviting us to revisit and reconsider the true nature and legacy of Africa's most dangerous dinosaurs, ensuring that their stories remain alive in the imaginations of future generations. In the quest to understand Africa's prehistoric predators, science has entered an exciting new era fueled by cutting-edge technologies that are revolutionizing how paleontologists reconstruct, analyze, and interpret the lives of these ancient creatures. These advancements are not only unveiling previously hidden details, but are also reshaping our comprehension of predator hierarchies, challenging long-held assumptions, and bringing fresh perspectives to the story of Africa's most dangerous dinosaurs. One of the most transformative tools is high-resolution computed tomography, CT scanning, which allows scientists to peer inside fossilized bones without damaging them. CT imaging reveals inner structures, such as brain cavities, sinus complexes, and sensory organ architecture, that were once inaccessible. This technology has deepened understanding of theropod sensory capabilities, cognitive potential, and feeding mechanics. For example, CT scans of Spinosaurus skull fragments have unveiled adaptations suggesting enhanced aquatic hunting abilities, while studies of Carcharodontosaurus have illuminated jaw muscle configuration and bite dynamics more precisely, raising new questions about their predatory efficiency. Three-dimensional, 3D modeling and digital reconstruction suites enable paleontologists to virtually piece together incomplete skeletons, correcting previous misinterpretations and refining size and posture estimates. Advanced software can animate these models to simulate locomotion, predatory strikes, and other behaviors based on biomechanical principles. Such simulations have sparked revisions of how agile or powerful certain predators might have been, yielding insights into their hunting styles and dominance. Isotopic analysis, particularly stable isotope geochemistry, has become invaluable for reconstructing diet, habitat preferences, and paleoclimate conditions. By analyzing oxygen and carbon isotopes in fossilized teeth and bones, researchers can infer the types of prey consumed and whether a dinosaur frequented aquatic or terrestrial environments. This technique has greatly contributed to understanding the ecological niches occupied by semi-aquatic Spinosaurus versus terrestrial giants like Carcharodontosaurus, revealing nuances in resource partitioning that influence the predator hierarchy. Another frontier is ancient biomolecular studies. While direct DNA recovery from Mesozoic fossils remains unfeasible, recent advances in protein sequencing, collagen analysis, and molecular paleontology provide biochemical fingerprints that hint at evolutionary relationships and physiology. These data can reshape phylogenetic trees and clarify species distinctions among African theropods, refining ideas about lineage dominance and diversity. Geospatial technologies, including geographic information systems, GIS, and drone-based remote sensing, facilitate detailed mapping of fossil sites and ancient landscapes. Such approaches enable reconstruction of paleo-environmental contexts, revealing how terrain, waterways, and vegetation influenced predator behavior and territorial dynamics. This understanding assists in identifying habitat preferences and competition zones, which help define ecological dominance. Machine learning and artificial intelligence are beginning to assist in fossil identification, pattern recognition, and predictive modeling. These computational tools can process vast datasets, discerning subtle anatomical variations or simulating evolutionary scenarios. This accelerates discovery and interpretation, leading to more nuanced understanding of African carnivore evolutionary history. Collectively, these technologies have compelled scientists to rethink the predator hierarchy, traditionally based on size and tooth morphology alone. The incorporation of behavioral modeling, ecological context, and sensory capability studies reveals a dynamic hierarchy influenced by specialization, adaptability, and environmental interaction. For instance, Spinosaurus's unique aquatic adaptations position it as a dominant predator in watery habitats, complementing the terrestrial supremacy of Carcharodontosaurus rather than a direct competitor. Moreover, these scientific advancements foster interdisciplinary collaboration, integrating paleontology with fields such as biomechanics, molecular biology, computer science, and climate science. This holistic approach enriches interpretations and expands our grasp of how prehistoric African predators lived, hunted, and interacted. As the body of knowledge grows and tools evolve, the ancient story of Africa's carnivorous dinosaurs continues to unfold in ever more vivid detail. This evolving science invites us to appreciate the complexity and diversity of prehistoric life anew, setting the stage for our final exploration, the ultimate weighing of evidence to crown the continent's most dangerous dinosaur. In this culmination, we synthesize anatomical prowess, ecological dominance, behavioral strategies, and evolutionary resilience to determine which predator truly stood unmatched in Africa's ancient shadowy realms, the final showdown in an epic saga millions of years in the making. As we arrive at the climax of our exploration, the question looms large and captivating. Among Africa's array of fearsome dinosaurs, which truly deserves the title of the most dangerous? The answer lies not in a simplistic judgment, but in synthesizing a wealth of anatomical evidence, ecological context, behavioral insight, and evolutionary resilience, piecing together a mosaic that captures the multifaceted nature of danger in prehistoric Africa. The contenders for this crown are well-known and awe-inspiring. Spinosaurus aegyptiacus, The river monster, with its unparalleled size and remarkable aquatic adaptations, redefined what a predator could be. Carcharodontosaurus saharicus, the apex land hunter, commanded terrestrial ecosystems with brute strength and devastating bite. Deltadromeus agilis brought the speed and agility that challenged more massive, slower foes. Rugops primus, armored and adaptive, demonstrated the added value of resilience and opportunism. To crown the continent's most dangerous dinosaur, we must weigh several factors. First, raw physical power, the capacity to kill large prey, survive combat, and dominate territory. Spinosaurus leads here in sheer size, estimated up to 17 meters and 20 tons, with adaptations allowing it to exploit aquatic prey inaccessible to others. Yet its semi-aquatic specialization may have limited terrestrial dominance. Carcharodontosaurus, slightly smaller but powerfully built with a robust skull and serrated teeth designed for slicing flesh, excelled in land-based dominance. Its fossil evidence shows participation in territorial disputes, resilience in injury, and predation on large herbivores, positioning it as a formidable terrestrial force. Speed and hunting strategy provide another critical axis. Deltadromeus, though smaller, combined agility with hunting skill, able to pursue and capture fast prey where larger predators might fail. This speed made it deadly in different ecological contexts, highlighting that danger does not always correlate with size. Adaptations such as tooth morphology, claw design, and sensory acuity underscore hunting efficiency. Spinosaurus's conical teeth were specialized for gripping aquatic prey, while Carcharodontosaurus's serrated teeth could inflict devastating wounds. The extent of sensory capabilities inferred from skull studies suggests acute vision and smell across these species, crucial for effective predation. Behavior and ecological role add complexity. Social behavior remains speculative, but hunting tactics from ambush to persistent pursuit influenced success. Interactions among predators, competition for resources, and niche partitioning allowed coexistence, but also possibly led to fierce clashes, pushing evolutionary innovation. Importantly, the environmental context, the mosaic of rivers, swamps, floodplains, and seasonal forests, provided diverse hunting grounds that shaped specialization. Spinosaurus's aquatic niche allowed it a dominance separate from terrestrial giants, whose strength and endurance ruled land. This division of ecological realms suggests a dual dominance rather than a single overarching predator. Synthesizing these lines of evidence yields a nuanced verdict. Spinosaurus's uniqueness and size position it as Africa's most specialized and unprecedented predator, a master of aquatic and semi-aquatic realms. However, for sheer terrestrial dominance and raw killing power, Carcharodontosaurus stands unrivaled on land. Deltadromeus and Rugops, while deadly within their niches, fall short of overall dominance, but emphasize the diversity and adaptability of African predators. Therefore, designating a singular most dangerous dinosaur demands acknowledging that danger in prehistoric Africa was multifactorial and context-dependent. If we measure danger by adaptive breadth and dominance across multiple environments, Spinosaurus's revolutionary semi-aquatic adaptations tip the scales. Yet, if judged by terrestrial predatory supremacy and capacity to subdue massive land prey, Carcharodontosaurus claims preeminence. Ultimately, the final showdown reveals not a solitary champion, but a dynamic ecosystem ruled by mountains of muscle, sharpened teeth, swift feet, and unmatched evolutionary ingenuity. The continent's most dangerous dinosaur was likely a shifting title, contested across land and water, whose legacy continues to astonish and inspire. This nuanced understanding invites us to appreciate the complex tapestry of prehistoric Africa's predator landscape, where giants battled elemental forces and fierce competitors alike. As science continues to advance, unearthing new fossils and refining our insights, the saga of Africa's deadliest dinosaurs will grow ever richer, continuing to captivate and challenge our imaginations.